Oh shit, hold on. I'm waiting on you, Black Wayne. Come on, Black Wayne, come on. Hmm. Come on, man. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. Oh, snap. Come on, camera. Nah, ain't no coming down. Extra button, sorry. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, Black Wayne, come on, Black Wayne, come on, Black Wayne. My bad. Ain't no coming down. Chasing this fast money because I'm going down. Mm, my bad, people. Shit. Okay. Let me set this thing up. Shit.
Ah, booyah. There we go.
With a black wing.
What up, man? It's good
What
to
up?
meet you.
Hold on, let me close my thing down for a second.
Sure, sure.
With a black wing.
What up? It's good meeting you.
Man, it's good, man. First and foremost, man, people, before we start the show, thank you, Black Wing, man, for taking my invite, man. I'm still new to this YouTube thing, so I wanted to start my own podcast because I came across your channel, man, and I gotta say I was very pleased, and impressed with your show. And I was like, man, it's good to see you, it's good to see another young black brother, doing this comic book thing, because I'm still used to this YouTube thing. So, before we start go off the show, I don't let people into this brand new show. The show's called The Comic Crew. And
Okay.
what inspired me to invite you to the show, and I got another guy called Charles. I forgot the other guy name. He should come to the show real soon. But what inspired me to Comic Crew is because I'm a big geek, and I see you a big geek as well. And it's very rare you see a lot of podcasts with white guys. They get around talk comic book stuff, and it's rare to see that. And I wanted to create a show that, for me, I'm a geek, and if you know about me, Black, when I see you, it's Batman fan. I love Batman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Batman's my
so
favorite
do I.
character.
So do I.
Yeah, obviously you can see, like, I can't show you everything, but obviously you see two Spider posters in the back. So I love Batman and Spider Man and shit.
Yeah,
And
me too.
I wanted to create a show. I wanted to create a show that was so different from other people, and I want to show minorities, black men, young black males getting together, talk
Right,
comic book
right,
stuff. Because in the black community, man, we like to talk, bad stuff and talk, about bad about each other. Oh, you a geek and you a nerd, and you corny as hell, and you need to stop doing this and that. You lame
right.
and stuff. Cause I'm a comic book guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I saw Guardians of the Galaxy recently, and I was just amazed by that. People, this is the comic crew. We talk comic book game, talk gaming, we talk everything comics from gaming, movies, movie news, anything going on. So Black Wing, give some of the viewers. I want you to give some of the viewers introduction to your show, to your channel, and not talk too much about not talk too much about me. You go first, man. Go ahead.
All right, sure. So, of course, I'm Blackwing 2040. I started doing my YouTube channel in October. I just wanted to let myself out to express my love for comic books and gaming and everything.
Uh
I mean,
huh.
so I started out really well. I do character talks, which means I just give a brief description about the character, their origin, a little touch about their enemies. I do movie reviews on like DC's animated movies or superhero movies I just seen, and I also do like some Marvel versus DC comics matchups. Like I've been doing that for like since probably like since January,
Uh
and
huh.
so it's really enjoyable, and I enjoy communicating with people, and if this helps me communicate with my subscribers, this is what I need to do.
So I mean, before we get into the show, people, what got you into comics though? Like, what age did you into the comics? How old are you anyway?
I'm 16 right now. So
Oh,
what
that's not
brought me?
bad.
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
brought me into comics book was, I mean, it just to me it just happened basically. I mean, when I started out, for me I just started just like watch the TV shows or the movies and that was it. Then
Uh huh.
I research stuff in these comic books. There are actually great stories and great matchups and stuff that happen. So the first um the first comic book I owned was Superman Man of Tomorrow. It was just like this issue I got with a Superman action figure.
Uh huh.
So that, and then sooner or later I started when a free comic book day happened, I bought me a Teen Titans comic, and I've been hooked onto that ever since. So
Mhm.
I've been enjoying that. I'm currently reading Justice League of America right now. It's
Mhm.
really amazing. Like these stories are amazing.
So you had to give me, like, before we get into the show, who's your favorite superhero so far? Like, who's your favorite superhero?
Oh my God, man! I think for DC, my favorite had to be Batman, of course. Well,
I
it's
love Batman, dude. Hey
between.
man, I fucking love Batman, dog. I don't hate the truth like that, man, but I fucking love Batman. Like my dad, because if you don't know, I come from a two-parent household. My dad died for cancer. Mom still lives, but me and my dad would watch Batman, Superman cartoons. Like they had like this one Batman and Superman show was connected, and we always had those heavy debates about who would win in the fight, and I was always defend Batman because I related to Batman. I don't know about everybody else because I don't know how everybody else relate to the character. I always like related to Batman. I kind of you kind of agree with this. Is the fact that I never had my dad murdered, but to him see him losing his parents and to see him become a detective where he has to learn and train and become his Avengers of the Night, I related to that. Like to me, no distant people, but I never related to Superman because I feel like he was God. He was perfect. Like how can you write for a guy that can just live up tons of stuff and don't feel the pain? Like I'm not saying there's no this Superman fans out there, but it's just how I feel about the character. I just don't like perfect characters. I like human characters. I like characters different. But go ahead about Batman. You love Batman. Go ahead, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so my favorite, well, it's between Batman and Batman Beyond because I really
Oh
enjoyed.
wow.
That was a really good TV show. So it's between those two. And then for Marvel, my favorite, of course, is Spider-Man because I really enjoyed the Ultimate Spider-Man series for the comics,
Uh
and
huh.
the animated series was a blast. I mean, he's the first superhero I started out with, so basically Spider-Man's my top favorite. From
So Spider Man, damn, man, me and you just like that. Golly. I love Spider Man too, man. I love the major Spider Man. I know a lot of people hated it, man, but
yeah, I enjoyed
like
every moment of it. I enjoyed every single moment of it.
I enjoy a moment. I just don't. The only thing I did not like about that movie was like I felt like the Rhino, Rhino. I did not like the Ultimate Rhino. I didn't like Rhino.
Yeah,
Like, man,
yeah, yeah. Like how they brought him out at the end of the movie. I did not like that
yeah,
because
the Rhino right there. I'm like, you could have. I wish they would have just made him a full blown Rhino, had his DNA alter what he is, become a Rhino. I'm like, that's my only gripe against that film, man. But you ready to get into some topics, man?
yeah. Let's get into some topics. So let's go.
Hold on. Let me get my pad.
Sure.
I know this is my first show, man. So I'm kind of this is my first show, man. Huh. This is my first show. I'm kind of so see kind of unprofessional here, man. But the
Take it.
first top, first topic I got on hand right now is Justice League. Everybody knows Batman vs Superman come out May 6th, 2016, coming up a little bit going on. And I know a lot of people hype about the film. I've been, watching a lot of YouTuber guys. They've been talking about YouTube. They've been talking about Justice League and hype for Rock and Shazam and all this stuff going on. But here's the thing for me, man. I know a lot of people so hyped about it, but maybe because I used to be this and just people so be. I used to be a DC fanboy. And one of my DC fanboys that I used to praise everything DC does. But me
Right.
going into Marvel and watching, Guardians of the Galaxy, and I love the Guardians of the Galaxy now. I got like three posters right here, Star Lord on this side, and team up, and I got Rocket Raccoon in the back right there. You see it?
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
You see it right there? For me growing up, I always been a DC guy. So me going in, me going through me truly going into a person, I was like, you know what, I want to see this, and I want to, I love DC, and I praise the thing they do, and Dr. Gritty, and it's like I know a lot of people look at the Nolan thing is different for me. When I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm like, this is crazy, man. Like this is a good ass movie. I gotta see it. It's so important. You hear me?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
You
I
hear me,
mean, I saw it too. It was awesome. It was brilliant. Like
it was a brilliant movie, and I just for me different. Me going into this movie, I was like, you know what? I wanted to see a show different. I want to be different, and just seeing a talking raccoon in the tree and saying I am Groot. Like I was not familiar with the Guardians of the Galaxy to this year. Like I never heard of them. And I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be stupid. A talking raccoon and a tree. Get out of here, man. This makes no sense at all. And I read it, and I'm in the opening scene. Starla dancing around. He got the little 8 track going on with his little head cassette player. He bit dance. I want to come to get your love by Redbone. I'm like, oh my god, it's funny. It was going on. I'm like, oh my god, man. But I'm gonna go first, and you go first, man. But my thing about Justice League, this is my definition for me. Like, look, me coming off me watching these Marvel films, Iron Man 3 and the Avengers, stuff like that, I understand what DC's trying to do, or Warner Brothers were trying to do. I understand they want to play catch up so bad. But the problem I have with Justice League as a whole is to me there is no build up. Like I love the Avengers. Like people, I have seen the Avengers 100 times. I just watched it yesterday 2 times yesterday, and I'm like, to me that's a good movie. And I say, well, Warner Brothers lack to me. I feel like Warner Brothers, I trust them, but I don't trust them because we all see how Green Lantern turned out. Green Lantern was not. Well, let's just say it wasn't the best movie. It
yeah,
wasn't a
yeah,
part where it should have been. We all know how Warner Brothers got Batman, Dark Knight trilogy. Like I hate Dark Knight Rises. I don't understand it. I just hated it because it was just I don't know, man. I didn't like Nolan Batman. I'm sorry, people. I'm not a Nolan fanboy. I love Nolan, but let's be honest, his Batman ain't no Tim Burton Batman. It may
True,
sound hate.
true,
It may
true.
sound like hate, but it's not different. It just had my honest opinion. You can respect it, you can hate it, you can love it. It really don't matter to me. But my thing has always been, I said the problem with Warner Brothers is that they want to. I think Warner Brothers can pull it off because they got the characters to do it, but there was no build up. And to me, I'm excited for Justice League. I'm excited for Batman versus Superman. But like when I heard when they announced Batman versus Superman, and they was like, okay, this is supposed to be the Man of Steel trilogy. This is supposed to be about Superman getting established. You just established Henry Cavill as Superman. Why would you throw Batman in it just to save it? And I say it all the time. If DC didn't have Batman to save them, their universe would be screwed. Because Batman's the moneymaker. I love Batman. But let's be honest right now, I'm getting tired of the character. Because I'm like, okay, I saw Man of Steel, and I'm starting to hate the film now because I saw For the Flowers, and I understand why people hate that film so much. But I wanted a Superman trilogy. I wanted Superman to have his own thing. I wanted him to be his own guy. But you can never. How can you be your own guy when you constantly got Batman taking over it? Like when you look at the title, Batman v Superman, and it says not the Man Steel sequel, but it really is because you dressing what happened. You're gonna address what happened in the first film, and you're going into the second film about, okay, you know what? Yeah, this is what goes on into the world. You can't flip it, and you can't challenge, you can't hate for what goes on into the world. But I say it so long, I'm gonna say it once again. Justice League, I'm hyped for it, but I'm going in with expectations because we all saw how Man of Steel turned out. Batman vs Superman can be that. And plus, I mean, first of all, this is Zack Snyder. I mean, he good with 300 and Sucker Punch, but let's be honest, man. I don't like Zack Snyder as a director, so I can care less about it. But what's your thoughts on Justice League film?
Well, for me is basically the whole news strangling around. Like you want Dwayne Johnson to play Black Adam or Shazam, and you have Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and there's another rumor just came up saying Green Lantern's not even gonna be in it. So that's my problem is, and for them to play catch up like that, just to see how well Marvel is doing, and for them to say they want to do 3 movies a year, they should have been doing this since Batman Begins. They shouldn't wait until now just for
Yeah,
that to happen. If
yeah,
y'all want to
yeah.
if y'all want to do a cinematic universe, maybe y'all could start it before Marvel did. I mean, come up with a Superman movie, come up with a Flash movie, a Wonder Woman movie
Yeah.
for Pete's sake.
And to
And
me, and why is it so? And I'm sorry to cut you off like that. And what makes
it's
me
alright.
so mad at Warner Brothers is that they got a gold-minded characters. Like you got Wonder Woman. And what made it so sad was I love Guardians of the Galaxy, but here you got Wonder Woman, one of the 50th greatest female superheroes of all time. You let a talking raccoon in a tree beat you to the punch. A talking raccoon in a tree get come out before Wonder Woman. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that makes
Utterly ridiculous. I don't
point.
care what nobody say, and people make excuses for Warner Brothers, and I say what also hurts Warner Brothers. It's like, look, I love Dark and Greed sometimes because I mean I'm a mature guy. I love mature comics. I love the Punisher. I love the insane psycho person of guy that kills people. Right? I love some of my anti-heroes. Right? But what I'm trying to say is what pisses me off with Warner Brothers too is the fact that they like Warner Brothers, they don't want to have fun in their movies. Like Warner Brothers, everything's dark and gritty. Everything's dark and gritty. Like Man of Steel, Superman's supposed to be a bright, fun element to character. He's supposed to be a character that's supposed to uplift and inspire you to become a hero. But how can you aspire to become a hero when you got basically when you got somebody when you try to take the mindset of Batman, who was dark and gritty, who's a dark and brooding character, has some dark habit to him that drove him down to become this role of a vigilante. They call him that drove him just as a bat at night. And then you take that philosophy and try to fight Superman. I was watching Man of Steel the other day. I watched it yesterday. And I was watching it, and what pissed me off about that film, and I'm just going into talking about Justice League 2, how it goes into it, is that they took what Christopher Nolan did with his Batman and tried to apply it to Superman, and it didn't work out. I mean, people praise that film for what it is, and to me, I don't hate Man of Steel because I see the full potential in it. But I'm so mad at that film because that movie had so much potential to become something great. And then you look at the film, you be like, oh my God, man. Other people was making excuses like, well, Superman. I agree. Look, I agree wholeheartedly. I don't agree with Superman Snap Beside Neck because I think it's the other way around because I read the comics people, so I know what I'm talking about here. is that when people say, "Oh, Superman zapped Zod's neck," it was stupid. Why did he zap Zod's neck? It was basically going on with me. Oh, he had zapped Zod's neck. Superman, to me, the only excuse I give Superman for Man of Steel was when he was learning how to fly. That's the only excuse I give him. He's been Superman his whole life. I don't care, even if it's one day. Even an inexperienced Superman would know how it is. Another thing I hate about Man of Steel, that going into it, and also Justice League as well, going into it, it's like, okay, Superman demolished all the known buildings. He killed all those people, and other people say, well, the world engine did it. Yeah, but Superman act like did not even have the appearance like trying to save the people. He was too busy trying to fight right inside while the buildings collapse and come around it. But to me, it's like, okay, you come into a Justice League film. Also, one thing I do not like about Batman versus Superman, which you might even call it Justice League with, with Aquaman them, and of course you make it a small cameo, Cyborg, and then I saw a recent picture on the news the other day. I saw a recent picture on, I forgot what channel it was, on the news on in the internet was, where it was it had a picture of a guy who's supposed to be Flash in it. I'm like, y'all really trying hard to catch up with Marvel, man. For somebody, for a company that's so different, I'm like, if y'all want to catch up with Marvel so bad, instead of just making Batman films, how about you venture out and do other things? I know Green Lantern bomb. Like, one thing I gotta give Marvel credit for, the Hulk was trash. 2003 movie, that movie was, it was trash, beyond trash. You can't save it. Hulk, Marvel said, you know what, we can go with Edward Norton, we'll come in the Credible Hulk, saved it, spared it, and then now look where we are now in the universe. What I mean is, the problem with Warner Brothers is that Warner Brothers do not take a risk. I don't care what nobody say. Them 9 movies when DC not like when when DC was announcing the 9 movies, I was like, I bet nine of those movies gonna be Batman. And much as it hurts me to say this stuff because I bet it's gonna be Batman related. Because let's be honest, if it ain't Batman, Warner Brothers suck at it. I mean, Man of Steel to me had potential, but it had too many plot holes and there was too much exposition telling him he was Superman, he's Jesus, and then one moment you're telling him he's a god, and then next moment you're telling him to hold back his power. I'm like, so make your mind up.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a superhero or not? That's the problem here. But go ahead, man. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, which is really good. Which I like to address that point you made, how Superman was like busy focusing on Zod and not all. I would just want to say, if Zack Snyder could look at the old Superman films, try to get some element from that, because I saw Superman 1 and 2, and during the fight with Zod and everyone else, you actually see Superman helping everyone else while fighting Zod. He was multitasking. In Man of Steel, you just have him just doing one thing. So if you watch the old Superman films, try to pull some elements from there instead of just coming with your own ideas and just killing off people. I mean, take a look at the Batman franchise. Tim Burton did well, and then gave it off to Joel Schumacher, and then when Robin came out, of course that flunked out. That just ended the whole series. But at least try to do something new. Like, try to do a reimaginized version of Mr. Freeze. Like, I know Arnold Schwarzenegger did not do that part well. I mean, do a new version of that. Have him be a good Mr. Freeze. Like, have him freeze everyone. Have him tear Gotham to pieces. Do something. Try to make it seem more realistic.
Yeah, I mean, and that's my take on that film. That's my whole take on that universe as a whole. It's the fact that, like, I know a lot of people out there watch Man of Steel, and I've been watching a lot of movies lately. Oh, Man of Steel is the best Superman ever. I'm like, what are you smoking, man? I'm like, that ain't Superman. That just a guy. That just happened to be a guy that just got an S in the cape, that just wears an S and just got a cape. That ain't Superman to me. I don't care what nobody say. Like, Superman to me, even if you take an inexperienced Superman, if you live, because when you look at his origin right now, he's the only last survivor of the Kryptonian planet, right? All right, the Kents raised him to be this mythological figure to always do good with his powers. But I was watching Man of Steel. I was like, this ain't Superman. What the world? Like, this ain't Superman. This guy happened to have superpowers, and he couldn't do anything about it. And I understood, like, for me, I understood the direction that Snyder was trying to go. I understood it wholeheartedly. I fully understood the direction he was going. But he lost me with the last battle. Just like I was watching the moment where this one scene that pissed me off. When we go into the topic because I want to go into too much my hate for Man of Steel. But I was going into this issue. I went into the film, and it meant a Black Wind. Do you remember that scene where him and Zod was fighting, and it was that Let's Court gas truck in front of him?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
LexCorp truck.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Course truck, and he just pushed it in front of him instead of using his heat vision, or he could have used his hand to stop the truck. He let the truck hit the darn building, and the building collapsed. I'm like, you couldn't stop that with your heat vision. What the world? And there's no, I know a lot of people, and to me, and that's my problem with far with Justice League, and that's like also one thing about Justice League. Going to the topic, one thing I hated about it so much about it, one thing I truly hated, and I really want to, I truly want to say this because it pissed me off, is I feel that to me, it's Dark Knight Returns. You're basing Batman vs Superman off the Dark Knight Returns, and everybody knows how much. Like for me, I saw the animated film. I love the animated film, but I read that novel. Like I do not like the Dark Knight Returns, not because I may not be a Superman fan, but I felt like how Frank Miller portrayed Superman in Dark Knight Returns was not Superman really. It was his version of Superman. I mean, of course, you will have different artists and writers write Superman and they way they want to write it because it's like Batman. Somebody gonna tell Batman origins in a way that seems different and unique about it. But one thing about me is the fact that you're basing a universe based off of Dark Knight Returns. I don't care what nobody said. Dark Knight Returns to me. It's more of like a big F you in the face. It's like a big F you to Superman and saying, you know what, man, forget you, Superman. Like, cause let's be honest right now. I read a lot of comics, people. I read a lot of comics, a lot of comics. And I have read one issue where it was the world finest, and Bruce on top of, I think Bruce on top of, he's on the top of Gotham, and he says Clark and Superman can kill me anytime he really wants to, but he don't do it because Superman's a good guy, and he don't do all this stuff going on, and just all this going on for me, man. But before we go into the topic, you got anything else about it?
Um, basically, all I just want to say is try to have some good stuff here on DC. I mean, we get they try to do put out more stuff, like you have them doing TV shows now. You got them with Constantine, Gotham,
Yeah,
Flash, Arrow, Smallville, which was a really good series, by the way. If they're gonna they need to at least try to make more happen. I mean, if you're gonna make a Justice League movie, I mean, we already got confirmed for Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Cyborg. We need to know who's gonna be playing Flash, or if even when the movie was in development, Stephen Arnell, who's Green Arrow, he said he would probably like to have Green Arrow in the movie as well.
hmm
But we need to just if you want to do like stick with a solo film and then move to team films, you have to do just each character one by one and make it good. Like have a good director, have a good script and a good plot. Don't make it like crappy. I mean, Marvel had his terrible share of movies as well.
yeah,
Ghost
yeah,
Rider. I mean,
yeah,
that movie was terrible, and they gave it a sequel. Judge Dredd, that was terrible. Both of them, the '97 movie and the one that came out in 2012. The Punisher movies weren't that good. Evil, Daredevil, Elektra. Marvel had his share of bad movies as well.
yeah,
But the only thing that's keeping them together is the cinematic universe.
yeah.
So that's basically all I gotta say. That's what my point is.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, yeah. But that's that was just a big topic. In recent news, I think a couple of months ago, a couple of weeks ago, DC announced 9 new movies. They announced 9 new movies. Now, when I first heard the news, that was a topic I just read from topics I wrote down. When I first read the topic, and when I first heard this news, and I'm like, to me, it was like, and this is my theory. When I saw this, I heard it, and I was like, you know what? I bet Warner Brothers was like, you know what? They were sitting back analyzing it. Let's see how Guardians of the Galaxy do. Let's see if it fails or flop. And then not only Guardians of the Galaxy broke records as far as the expectations that Marvel had for that film. It made you like to the point where it made you care about talking tree and the raccoon. And I said DC now, and I had said some real stuff. I was like, look, I want to see Warner Brothers get together. I love DC. I love Batman. I love DC. I want DC to get their stuff together verbatim. I
Right.
love DC. I just, for me, why does it take why does it take Warner Brothers? No, not Warner Brothers. Why does it take Marvel for them to do Guardians of the Galaxy, for you guys to say, you know what, we need to get our universe back together. So it took a talking tree and a raccoon for you guys to realize the fact that you announced brand new movies before. It's like, okay, why you gotta go through all this stuff? But to me, while I'm being down about that decision, I'm happy that they actually taking the right steps into this universe to get to actually make you want to care about it, to make you actually want to care about the product, to make you want to care about the other stuff that goes on. You know what I'm saying? It
Right.
make you actually want to care about the brand and stuff. And to me, what I am going to say though, I am happy to see stuff going on for me. Like me, I'm a big guy of the comic book cast. I love those guys. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Joe, Sean, Matt, Tom, Shay. Shout out to the comic book cast. I love those guys. And I've been listening to Armin talk about Aquaman and his love for Aquaman and stuff like that. Like to see like for me, I never really found Aquaman interesting as a character. I recently just purchased some comics for the New 52 run, and I gotta admit, Aquaman is a very interesting character. I gotta admit he's a very interesting character. Like I'm hearing now news in the 9 new films that one of the 9 new films might be an Aquaman film. I really want to see a difference. And I say it verbatim. If they can pull off Aquaman and do it right, DC's in the game. Warner Brothers, they in the game. They gotta go it up. But to me, I said, let's hope they don't mess it up because Warner Brothers, I don't care what nobody say. One thing about I think what hurts DC is not DC fault, it's Warner Brothers fault. Warner Brothers and DC is the same company. They under one division. Marvel has a studio, so Marvel overall can make their own movies, but it still didn't need money. But Marvel got their own studio. Marvel has their own. DC doesn't have their own studio. I'm a firm believer that the problem with Warner Brothers is the fact that they go dark and gritty. They don't care about being creative. They don't want to be different. It's like when people always talk about bad about Marvel films. Oh, Marvel has too many comedy. They business is terrible. And so and this and that. And they always want to talk bad about Marvel. But at least what I got Marvel is that they movies are interesting, and it's like comedy to me adds on to the films. It makes movies more fun to me. Like to me, I'm tired of just seeing going to a superhero movie and you see the hero being dark, he moping around, and he ain't being a hero, just making an excuse, and he's so sad and depressed, and they trying to make him so dark. And I say the problem with Warner Brothers is they don't follow the source material. They don't listen to the fans. They don't, they don't listen to the fans. They don't listen to the fans. They don't embrace the source material. Like when you look at basically like in the Avengers 2, in the Age of Ultron, and they got the posters come out of Comic-Con. They had the Vision. They had the Vision costume in the comics in the poster. I'm like, that's what I love about Marvel versus Warner Brothers. Versus Disney. I think that they let Marvel embraces the source material. DC doesn't. I'm not saying not DC. Warner Brothers don't follow the source material. They think it's stupid. Like, I'm pretty sure you kind of agree with me here. Like, when you watch Man of Steel, and you will say, well, it was like, well, we took the red trunks off the character because this Superman lives in a realistic world. Superman's not a realistic character. Why you gotta try to make him realistic? I understand you try to make him relatable to those fans that just don't understand the character. They don't understand the character, understand what Superman is. But to me, I love Marvel because they embrace source material. Like when I watch a Marvel film, I have a good jolly old time. I was watching Iron Man 3 the other day, and I'm like, oh my god, this movie is a good ass movie. But people complaining about it, bitch niggas complaining about it because it's the Mandarin. Yeah, give me one storyline that made the Mandarin special. But going back to not 99 films, I'm glad Warner Brothers getting their stuff together. I'm glad Warner Brothers actually care about their universe and actually want to be something different. But I hope it ain't not Batman films. Because if this is not Batman films, I swear I'm gonna get my Batman action figures and throw them against the damn wall. Because I'm tired of Batman, dog. I love Batman, but Batman needs to sit down somewhere and focus on it. And I was talking about last year. Superman had his 75th anniversary right now. That Superman had his 75th anniversary came up. You know what Superman got? He got a 20-minute short. Batman came out 75th anniversary. He get every day, even in the comic book series. He constantly buying comics. He has new series come out every day on DC Comics. He got a roller coaster. He got all this stuff, animated shorts. They going all out for Batman, but you can't do the same thing towards Superman. And to me, I want DC to get their stuff together. I want DC to win because I think that Marvel's winning this game. But I think Marvel, if DC, if Batman vs Superman make $1 billion and it just be flawless, it'd be a flawless film. I want to see DC get their stuff together. I love DC. I just hate that they go dark and gritty all the time. I think it's a lousy way. That's a lousy way instead of being creative. But that's just my honest opinion. So what's your take on it?
Well, basically, yeah, just like you said, how Superman had a 20-minute short, Batman had like two shorts, and I made a 75th anniversary rap about it. You can see it on my channel for those who never heard of it. It's right there on my channel, so y'all could watch it. But yeah, Batman had a remake. He even have a remake of his first issue that came out. I downloaded it like when on the day it premiered.
Yeah,
Um, so his 75th anniversary has been coming a lot like more popular now. Like they even in the Warner Brothers studio, they have a whole exhibit of everything Batman, like all from the 60s to now, like the costumes, the Batmobiles, the gadgets,
yeah,
the actors. They have a whole exhibit of everything from the 60s to now. Why can't Superman ever get anything like that? I
yeah,
mean, they did have it at Comic-Con last year. We just got a view of the Superman suits, which was Christopher Reeves and Henry Cavill's. I
yeah,
mean, basically Batman. I understand people like Batman more than Superman, and Batman gets a lot more publicity, like with the Arkham games, which are very good, by the way. The animated series, for two animated series actually, Brave and the Bold, Beware the Batman, which was kind of shaky at times, but at least give some other heroes a chance, give them the spotlight. I mean, Flash is having his own TV show now. Green Arrow has his own TV show. If and now you have a TV show that's based on Gotham, which is another Batman thing, and you have
yeah,
Constantine, who people might not know who Constantine is. He's like what's the word I'm looking for? A supernatural type of hero, and
yeah,
also a member of the Justice League Dark. So if give the characters the spotlight. I understand Green Lantern wasn't that good, and still they put that cutscene at the end where Sinestro becomes a Sinestro Corps, starts the Sinestro Corps with his ring. So my thing is, if they're gonna do that at the end of that Green Lantern movie, try to do a sequel, but just make it better. Don't
yeah,
just put that at the end and then people just get hyped like, oh, Sinestro becomes yellow. We're gonna see a Green Lantern versus Sinestro film, and then just drop it off like that. I mean, I was surprised to see Sinestro turn yellow at the end of the film like that. I mean,
yeah,
I didn't expect that, but it was really good to see. I would love to see a Green Lantern versus Sinestro. I mean, I had the Green Lantern Sinestro Corpse War comic book, and I read it. It was amazing. Why,
yeah,
if they could do that, they could make a Green Lantern Sinestro Corps war movie. Like,
yeah,
have the whole Green Lantern Corps and the Sinestro Corps have a
yeah,
war across the whole universe.
yeah,
Have them with the other DC characters fighting the war. Or DC has all these amazing stories. They can make movies out of. You got
yeah.
Blackest Night, which was one of the biggest DC crossovers
Yeah,
ever.
I love the Blackest Night. I recently was watching Comic Head. I think he swears line his comics, but he was like doing it like he was doing like in a joking way. But I was watching stuff like I haven't read the Blackest Night in a while, but I was watching a video like a guy was reviewing it, and I'm like, and this before the New 52 though. I was like, oh my God, they had way better stories than the old 52 because the New 52, man, I don't know different. But go back to the topic of 99 films. I just think to me, I agree wholeheartedly. DC has a gold mine of characters, man. And to me, I was watching. I think I watched the pilot. I think I was watching the leak pilot episode of the Flash on CW, and I was watching it. I was like, oh my God, this is a good show.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, just watching that pilot, man. I can't see what goes on because you can't review it, but because copyright things. But I was watching that show, I'm like, oh my God, why this can't be a movie? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Like for me, Flash should have been had a TV show. I mean, the Flash should have been had the movie. Like to me, I think out of all the characters in Justice League you can make a movie for, and you don't have to make them dark. It depends on top of you got Jay Garrick, you got Barry Allen, you got Wally West, and you got Iris West. I mean, there's a lot of different Flashes out there you can go to. I mean, I like all Flashes. To me, it don't matter. To me, it don't matter what version of Flash it is to me because I think I grew up on the Wally West Flash. But I love Flash, period. I think Flash is a great character. But to me, I hope in the non-DC films, I hope to me, this is my definition. I hope it's a Flash film. I want to see a Flash film. I want to see a Flash film. Let me see what's. I want to see Green Lantern. I want to see John Stewart. That's
Yes,
what I really want.
yes,
John Stewart.
yes. There
Oh,
you go.
I want to see John Stewart, man. John Stewart was one of the things. John Stewart was my favorite character. I mean, I watched Justice League, and I'm like, much as I don't like Hal Jordan as a character because I never liked him, but I like John Stewart as a character because I feel like he's more interesting than anything. And plus, you can do so much with his relationship. You can always dress it to me, and also I want to see. To me, I want to see a Wonder Woman. I want to see Flash. I want to see Green Lantern. I want to see. Let me see who else. Let me see going. I want to see a Green Arrow film. I want to see an Aquaman film. Let me see what's going. Let me see what's the characters. What's a good character? I want to see a Doctor Fate film. I want to see. Let me see. What's another good character? What's another
Right,
good character?
right. Yeah, they got a
Uh,
whole lot of choices of heroes they can use from.
yeah,
And all of these heroes have been in Justice League, basically. In Justice League Unlimited, actually. All these
yeah,
characters that he had, they were all in Justice League Unlimited. If
yeah,
people watch that show and they can see, if they can pull all their heroes out of there, they can look at their stories or look at the comics and see what stories they can pull out, make a real movie out of that, and probably just bring that together. I
yeah.
mean, it's really
I mean, cause
and
even though
yeah,
I want to see Shazam, like I was, dressing up for this. Sorry to cut you off, but
it's alright.
I was, I mean, yeah, I was watching. I was talking about J. Roy. I love his channel, J. Roy, right? But one thing I loved about, I kind of disagree with this video. Like it was like J. Roy with Shazam, right? I was watching. I recently went to movies and saw Hercules with the Rock. I
Mhm.
love The Rock and all. I love The Rock. I love him in the Fast and Furious films. I think he's great and all. But everybody want him to play Shazam. And I said I do not want that because I feel like when I watched Hercules, and I said if he could not make Hercules successful, if his star power cannot draw, moviegoers to see Hercules, who can think of Shazam? And to me, out of the 99 films, I hope it's Shazam or Captain Marvel. He can't say Captain Marvel because Marvel owned Captain Marvel, but Shazam now. Billy Batson. I really want to see a Shazam film, but I do not want The Rock to play him. I want to see Rock play Black Adam, but I don't want The Rock to play Shazam. I want a brand new comer, and that's one thing I got to give credit to Marvel too. And I know I sound like a Marvel fanboy, on this podcast, but I'm just saying is I like Marvel because they get actors you would think 9 times out of 10, like when they casted Chris Evans for Captain America, and you was like, that's stupid. He played Johnny Storm. He played Johnny Storm, not Johnny Storm. He played Johnny Storm on the Fantastic Four, and he blew it out to perform for Captain America. And what I mean is that DC stopped, Warner Brothers stopped relying on star power and get an up and coming actor. Guess what happened? I want to see a brand new actor play Shazam. To me, I really think it'll be cool. And to me, I really want to see a Shazam film because I think that, to me, that's one thing I have not seen a superhero movie yet. I have not seen a movie that has went towards kids. But my only biggest concern about Shazam, and it's to me because I know that DC confirmed it. That a movie, well, I don't know if they confirmed it. It's part of 99 films, but it probably is. But I hope deep down inside, I hope Shazam movie. I hope Shazam they don't make him dark and gritty. If they make him dark and gritty, I am gonna be pissed off, pissed, beyond pissed. Like you can't. I'm sorry, man. Like okay, you can do it with Batman, but don't do it with every character, even with Wonder Woman in the 99 films. I'm pretty sure in the 99 films, a Wonder Woman film is coming real soon. I really like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. I know a lot of people nag and complain about Ben Affleck as Batman, but people calm down. Ben Affleck is gonna be a great Batman. I'm giving him a chance. I'm giving him a benefit of the doubt. Ben Affleck is gonna be a great Batman. I believe he's gonna shut all them dumb people up that hated him for his casting choice. I know a lot of people hated him for him getting cast as Batman, but to me, I'm so excited for that. But to me, I want to see a Wonder Woman film. I do not want her dark and gritty. I do not want Flash dark and gritty. I do not want Wonder Woman dark and gritty. I do not want Green Lantern dark and gritty. I do not want these characters to have the same tone and have. And that's my problem with Justice League going into these 9 films. Is that if you have one tone dark and gritty, you're pigeonholed. You're putting yourself in a position that you really can come back from.
Right, right. I can understand that. Like, take okay. Basically, I want to say this. Like, you know how they've been focusing on the grown folks type of superheroes and whatever.
Yeah.
I want to say this about Warner Brothers. Have y'all forgotten about Teen Titans? Have y'all forgotten about Legion of Superheroes? Have y'all
Mm,
forgotten about those stuff? Y'all made two cartoons of those stuff, but
yeah,
y'all forgot. I mean, they made. Of course, you got Teen Titans coming back with Teen Titans Go. I mean, I watch it. It's really funny. And Legions of Superheroes only lasted for like 2 seasons, and that was it.
yeah.
I mean,
I mean, but you know what? I think, for me, Teen Titans is one of them things. Like, I like the show, I like the cartoon, and I agree with you that Teen Titans. I like Teen Titans, the original series. Go, I'm on the fence with that show. I think it ruined the original Titans for me because I'm like I like the original Titans. I like what the original Titans was for. I like the artwork. I like how they was drawn. But that was just more like it felt more of a parody. But I feel where you're coming from. I like the comedy aspect of it, but just to me was a bad show to me overall altogether. The Legion of Superheroes. I like that show. But I think when you talk about making a film into Teen Titans, that's gonna be a little complex though. That's gonna be one of them films like it's gonna be one of them films you have to explain everybody's backstory. And of course you got Robin, you wanna explain to him like, well, why he's leader of the Teen Titans now? Well, so and so because he left Batman's side or so and so. Like you have to explain it. Like I mean, but I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think Warner Brothers they got a gold mine. Warner Brothers got so much going on in the nine films. I just hope nine films ain't Batman related. Cause I just hope not. Because I love Batman, but Batman is starting to become like what's one of them characters I can't stand for. It's like Batman is starting to become like the gaming industry in a little bit, right?
right.
Video game industry, everything is zombie related. Like I love The Last of Us. Like I'm gonna give me PS4 and buy me I'm gonna give me PS4 and buy The Last of Us remastered because I never played it on PS3, even though I have a PS3. And it's like Batman is starting to become a zombie to me, where it's more like, okay, oh my God, can we just can we have another movie besides Batman? Can we have a Nightwing film? Can we
Exactly.
have, just any something different? Like to me, that's why I say I feel, and it's so sad that their TV shows it's been in their live action films. I'm not saying all their live action films are terrible. Like I love the Dark Batman Begins, the Dark Knight. I love Batman '88, Superman 1 and 2. I love a lot of Warner Brothers films as far as DC related wise. But Dark Knight Rises, Man of Steel, I'm on the fence of the movies. I could kill less. But what I mean is my big thing has always been when you enter a universe is that's why I get so mad at DC. Even in a comic division, it's like Batman every month a Batman issue is getting announced. Like okay, like even in New 52 where we just are going on, but I don't want because that's gonna be a new topic later on about New 52. But just going in, I just hope non-movies is not Batman related because
Hmm.
I feel like it better not be Batman. Cause I feel like like if it's two, I'm like don't just have one Batman film related. Not what, what I will say, but what am I going to say about the nine films? But what I am going to say about those nine films, what I will say, and what I'm going to say, and what I will say is this, and it's going to be like this. I do hope out of those nine films is one Batman film, not nine, just one. Just one. Because you like Batman's already established. You have to establish him as a character. People know his backstory, we know what he is. Just jump into it, no origin story, just put him in a cape of cow. He's been fighting crime for 10 years, or how many years he's been fighting crime in the movie, whatever, trying to go for it. But it's just my thing for me, and that's just what I want. So, any of the last thoughts on the talk before we go into another one?
So yeah, but that was if one of them is like a one bat like out of those nine films, if one of them is a Batman film, that does make a point, good point. And try to give more films the spotlight. I mean, Bane got the spotlight twice, Joker got it twice,
Yeah,
um, Two Face had it twice. Give more villains the spotlight. Batman has the top rated rogues gallery in history. Give some other villains the spotlight.
yeah,
Like give up for what? Get make Harley Quinn come on the screen for Pete's sake,
yeah,
or have Mister Freeze a do over. Like really make him evil, not comedic. Make him
yeah,
evil.
yeah,
And I know there's some other villains out there, or try bring Penguin back. I mean, Danny DeVito did an awesome job as Penguin. I mean, bring
yeah,
Penguin back. Penguin back. Make him sound like it can be a crime lord. Come on, just you have a whole arsenal of villains there. Do
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
So what's
That's
so
that's
what's
that's
next topic?
So that's your thoughts on the Batman on the non movie on that that's your thoughts.
Yeah, those are my
Okay.
thoughts.
Next topic is I know a lot of people ain't gonna like this topic, ain't gonna like what I say, but people, we have to be honest here. I don't care what nobody say, and it makes no sense to me. It's different, but I want to talk about Batman v Superman. Now, Black Queen, before I give my thoughts and opinions, I'm gonna go off on this film, but you know, Black Queen, what's your thoughts on this topic? Like, what's your thoughts on Batman v Superman? Are you excited for it? Are you not excited for it? What do you expect? What do are you excited for it? Give your thoughts on it.
Well, basically, I mean, I have faith in this movie. I really have faith in this movie. Like, some people are like jinxing, like, say if Batman versus Superman is gonna be a flunk, DC's gonna go right under. People could just forget about it anymore. I have faith in this movie. I have faith in Ben Affleck. I think Gal Gadot could do a really great job as Wonder Woman. Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
Yeah,
Just make them have the good cameos, and put the team and if you wanted to lead into a Justice League, put the team together and don't leave out Green Lantern like that.
yeah,
Because I thought they were gonna do like the original seven with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, and Green Lantern. If they're trying to do the New 52 stuff, then
no.
that
Oh, man.
then try to follow the path and don't make it like your own. People
Yeah,
like
yeah. If
like
I,
it like stories that are people like movies that are based off from storylines in DC, like Justice League War, which was basically the Justice League coming together. Dark Knight Returns, that was good. Son
yeah,
of Batman. All these animated films that DC has made, even though majority of them were Batman films, they were based off of Batman storylines or Justice League storylines as well. So
yeah.
I think they need to do that a lot more.
So I'm gonna get your honest thoughts on it though. Like, so if you, I mean, I know you're excited for the film, but give me one complaint. Give me one major concern you have for this film. Like one major concern for this film.
My major concern is that is a good question. What is my major? All right, my major concern about this movie is why did they have to make Batman like in his 40s or 50s? I mean, they're trying to
Uh,
do elements from the Dark Knight Returns.
and you hate that novel?
Yeah, they
I
trying
hate
to.
that novel too, man. I hate that novel, man. I hate people for this, and I'm not to cut you off. I just hate people just praise that novel like it's the best thing ever. I'm like, it's basically a fan. It's basically saying it's like Batman can be Superman, but we all know in reality, I'm a Batman fan. I'll admit to it. Superman can kill Superman. Superman can kill Batman any day if he really wanted. If he really wanted, he can just do it by snapping that man's neck without even trying. But go
Mhm.
ahead, man. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, but yeah, if they're gonna do some elements from Dark Knight Returns, like have Batman in his robotic suit like he had in the final battle, just try to tweak it a bit, but don't make it look like exactly like this. Like we go to the movies and like, didn't we already see this before? We already saw this in an animated version in a novel. Why do we need to see it a third time? Try to
And
tweak.
don't have Batman beat some Superman in some lousy cheap way like they did with that Kryptonite Arrow with some BS, dog. I hated that junk, man. I hated that junk. I hate that novel, man. I hate that novel, dude. I just hate it with passion, man. It's like no, because people always overlook the fact like, oh, Batman beat Superman. Yeah, but with the help of Oliver Queen of Green Arrow. If you didn't shoot that Kryptonite arrow, Superman would have beat Superman would have handed a Batman a big ass whooping, dog. It would have been Batman would have got his ass whooped in the process, but he had Oliver Queen to help him. I don't care what nobody say. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. I could just go on for days about this novel.
Yeah, because in case people might not notice, Batman also knows every single Justice League member's weakness. In
Yeah,
case some people might not notice, Justice League Doom was based off a Justice League title, Tower of Babel, where Batman used every weakness of the Justice League on them, and basically, and plus he has a whole stash of kryptonite in the Batcave. Why didn't they put that in there? I mean, just
yeah,
have. I mean, he still carries kryptonite with him around to this day. They just
yeah,
don't show it, but he still does.
yeah. I mean, and that's the thing for me is more like Batman versus Superman. That's your thoughts on it.
Yeah, that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts.
Let's
And
start.
least, and one more thing,
Yeah,
try to put kryptonite in the movie. Try at
yeah,
least, because we barely got any chances with Kryptonite. Like in Superman Returns, that didn't work out well
Yeah,
at all.
yeah,
So
yeah.
try to make Kryptonite work a lot well and not make it just like terrible. So
Yeah.
that's my thoughts.
Well, my thoughts going into this movie, man. Like my only hope that to me is I love Cavill as Superman. I love the Ben Affleck. I love Ben Affleck is getting cast as Batman. I love that. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I love it. Now, if they do a terrible job, I'm going to mark my word and say, yeah, Ben Affleck was a terrible Batman. But I think Ben Affleck can pull it off. I think Daredevil, that's a thing in the past. We
Yeah,
all make, people make, all, actors make bad choices, man. Actors have bad movies. All actors have bad movies. It's part of the process. It's part of being an actor. It's part of life, period. You don't have something that fails. It depends on how you come recover from it. But I think, to me, the only faith I have in this movie, to me, is Cavill, Affleck, and Godot. That's the only faith I have in this film. To me, why I don't like this film, I know I'm gonna give valid reasons why I don't like this film. People, if you're watching this or you're seeing this, people don't get mad at it. It's my own personal opinion. I don't care what nobody say. This is a Man of Steel sequel. Why does Batman gotta be in it? Makes no sense here to me.
right.
And I'm giving my valid reasons why I don't like this. I don't like this movie. I'm the more I see about it, I'm getting excited for it, but I'm not hyped for it like I was for Man of Steel. Like when I saw Man of Steel trailers, I was so hyped for it. And I saw it the first time, it was the greatest thing ever. And then watching a couple more times, I realized it ain't the best film. My whole thing with this thing is you're basing off of Dark Knight Returns. That's one thing. I hate that novel. So that's one thing I have going against this movie why I don't like about it. But what I am excited for, and if they do it right, I do believe this movie can be great. Will it be Captain America good? Will it be the Winter Soldier good? Will it be the Guardians of the Galaxy good? No, it won't be probably it. It'll be alright, but it won't be the best film. But my biggest concern for this film is I really want it to me. I love, like, despite my hate for Man of Steel, I love Cavill as Superman. He can be a great Superman. He has so much potential. Like Cavill has so much potential to become a great Superman. But when they announce, I remember these announcements at Comic Con. I'm like, oh my god, this is just gonna be a clusterfuck of a film. Because basically you're saying is, okay, you came off the Dark Knight trilogy. Batman had 3 movies. Blackman, do you remember in the Dark Knight trilogy? He had 3 movies by himself.
True, true. Wait,
Yeah,
I just lost focus. So,
yeah,
so repeat that question one more
yeah.
time.
You good? In Dark Knight trilogy, Batman had 3 movies by himself, right?
Yeah, he had 3 movies by himself.
3 movies by himself, right? So, all right, we're entering the Man of Steel universe, which means it's superpowers. So it's not realistic that they were trying to make him realistic, but Superman is a guy that can fly. He has every 5-year believing that you can fly and all other stuff like that, right? But
Hmm.
here's the problem. Here's the solution of the problem, though. When you throw Batman into it, you gotta spend 1 hour focusing on Batman and then another hour focusing on Superman when it should be Superman and then Batman, right? Because
Right.
it's the Man of Steel sequel. And people say, I hate to make excuses for this film. It's not Man of Steel. It's not the Man of Steel 2 sequel. Yes, it is. Because you're coming off the events, you're casting Lex Luthor when they cast Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, which is a dumb choice, dumb casting choice. But you never know. But dumb casting choice. But you're coming off a universe where you casted Lex Luthor, which means it's the Man of Steel universe. It's the Man of Steel sequel too. You don't want to. People don't want to defend that. Another thing that goes into this film what's so different to me is that all these characters, you got Cyborg, Aquaman. I think Aquaman's been a cameo in the film. He's in the film. Batman, Wonder Woman, like Batman and Wonder Woman, I'm fine with. Okay, I don't have no problem with that because they're trying to Justice League or Aquaman. I had no problem with that. But you got to add Cyborg onto it, and then you trying to they're gonna add the Flash into it, and who's gonna get who's gonna get the background, who's gonna be put in the background?
Cool.
Cavill. Superman is going to be the second fiddle character, even though it should be about him and the effects of what happened, the events that went on in Man of Steel 1 and Man of Steel, to address the fact, okay, what happens? What happened, to see how he deals with the death of this city being demolished and how he's going to and how he wants to become a better hero. And that's my problem with that because now that you put Batman into it, I'm a Batman fanboy. I love Batman. But going into it, like you're gonna have those Batman fans who saying, well, you know what? I don't care about Superman. All I care about is Batman. And you know what? People have no emotion drawn to the character because they spent the first hour focusing on Batman and not Superman. And that's the problem with this film. Now I don't have no problem with them making it because you know what? I do believe Warner Brothers. Like the more I see, the more news and the more pictures I see about this film, I have faith in this film is going to be great. But to me, realistically, people like me, and you gotta agree with this, is that people we gotta have a realistic expectation for this film. Because my rhetoric is, say what you want to say about Marvel, say what you want to say Marvel, but they move Marvel. Sometimes the comedy thing can be a little annoying a little bit. And Marvel know what they're doing with their films. And to me, if they do a team up film, like of course when you look at the Winter Soldier, Superman, Captain America teaming up with the Falcon and Black Widow. I understand all that, right? But the
Hmm.
thing is, Warner Brothers. Okay, here's the thing. You talking about doing a team up movie with Batman? I do not want verbatim Batman versus Superman, and this is my final thoughts before we go to the topic. I do not want Batman to beat Superman in some cheap, lousy way. I don't. I want to make it a fair fight. Make Superman no have Batman and Superman duke it out, and they come to a neutral agreement. Like, you know what? We better
Right.
off working as a team.
Right.
Because don't do like Dark Knight Returns where when I remember announcing the film and it took the quote for Dark Knight Returns and he says I want you out in your deepest hours. Well, I don't know what the quote he said in the novel, but he was talking about how he beat the Clark and I want you to remember the last man that beat you. But Bruce better realize in that novel is that if Oliver Queen issued the Kryptonite arrow, you would have got your ass whooped. So
Right.
I said, yeah, I like you better realize like yeah, you had help. Like I did not see you. I can see he had kryptonite on him, but you had helped somebody to defeat Superman. Like if it were 1-on-1 Superman to beat Superman to beat Batman any day of the week. That's how it is. But the thing is, I'm saying is, do not have Batman beat Superman in a cheap, lousy way. Because like I'm trying to tell you, I mean, as a Batman fan, I may enjoy it because I may not enjoy it because I want a fair fight. I want Superman to get the proper respect that he should get. Because whether you know it or not, he was the first superhero before Batman came along. He was DC fan. He was DC Golden Boy. He was DC Moneymaker. He was DC Moneymaker. Superman was the first superhero for DC Comics to put them on the map.
Right.
And for
Right.
you to throw Batman into it, you lose the fundamentals of it, and that's the problem I have with this film. Not with them making it, because I believe Batman vs Superman is gonna be a great film. Now, am I concerned for it? Yeah, I'm concerned for it because you're basing it off a novel. Like you can't build a universe, you can't build a universe based off a novel because that's just a what if scenario. What if Batman would have beat Superman? Of course, that was a cheap lousy way how he did it, but you're basing it off a novel. That's the problem with this film. If they would say Batman versus Superman, they fight and they come to a neutral agreement and they make the fight very good. But you're basing off the Dark Knight Returns, which means that it makes Superman like a straight punk in that whole novel. So, why would you do a base a novel based off? Why would you base a movie or you set up universe based off that return? But guess what happened? Because look, what you making Batman old, what else can you do with the character? Because he fought all the villains already. He fought Joker. He fought Scarecrow. He fought Two Face. He fought, Killer Croc. He fought Mad Hatter. He fought, all of these iconic rogue villains. So where do you go from there after that? Plus, think about it. Ben Affleck, like I said before, Ben Affleck right now he's having a hard time with the suit. Ben Affleck, he's having a hard time functioning in the suit. I'm not saying hate being in the suit. Is that Ben Affleck? He ain't gonna be around forever. He may leave after Justice League. You never know. What I'm just saying is you can't base a universe off a novel. That's the problem with this film. And people so excited for the film. I'm like, so you're excited for a fan flick. And I said Batman vs Superman. You know what they should call it? Batman v Superman: The Dark Knight Returns. They should call it. Don't call it Dawn of Justice. Call it Batman: The Dark Knight Returns because you're basing it off a novel that it's a what if scenario. Blackwing. Black Wing, Black Wing, Black Wing, Black Wing, Black Wing, Black Wing, Black Wing.
Do I? Oh, thanks, bro. Oh, yeah, something happened. I think
Oh, what happened?
I'm not. I have no idea. Like, just just errored out. I don't know. I don't know how it happened.
Mm, mm. Well, that my final thoughts. Like, so any final thoughts before we go to another topic?
Uh, Not really, but that's basically all I gotta say. And during
Okay,
the break, I just put on my Batman shirt. Oh, my camera's so low.
okay,
So I
okay.
have my Batman shirt T-shirt on, so it'll fit the environment better, so we can know what we're talking about a lot more. So yeah. So
Yeah.
what's the next topic?
The next topic is the Sinister Six. I just read the news today. Craven the Hunter, and Mysterio is going to be in the Sinister Six. Um, so I'm gonna give my thoughts, and then you can give your thoughts after me. Me, to be honest with you right now, I want to say this though, because I know a lot of people hate Amazing Spider-Man 2. People say what you want to say about the Amazing Spider-Man 2, or say what you want to say about, say what you want to say what you want to say about that film, and say, oh, this movie's stupid, and oh, I don't like this movie, it's stupid. The only thing I hate about that movie was the Rhino shit. That was the only thing I hate. That the Rhino part, the Rhino. That's the only thing I hated about that film. But what I am gonna say though, I understand Sony is so reluctant to do the Amazing Spider-Man 3 because they hate that it get. The Amazing Spider-Man 3 still made tons of money. It still was a good, decent film. It had moments where you look at it like it could have been the greatest. It could have been the greatest thing ever. But you watch it and you
Hmm.
like there's some plot holes towards it. But my thing is, to me, it's like I want the Amazing Spider-Man to like, because how they talking about Sinister Six, they were saying, well, the Sinister Six is gonna have all this, Craven the Hunter, Mysterio. Of course, they probably have Venom in there. The Vulture. They probably have a lot of those characters in there. But to me, I'm saying is that they were talking about having a Sinister Six without Spider-Man. How you gonna have a villain movie without the hero? That's my problem. Another thing to me,
Right.
I feel like I understand people. I understand why Sony's so reluctant to do Amazing Spider-Man 3 because the hate that they get, and plus Amazing Spider-Man 2 did not get critical acclaim that it get. But then to a universe like this, I'm like, I love the Amazing Spider-Man, trilogy. I love the franchise. I love the first one. I love the second film. To me, I want to see the third film. I really want to see how he deals with the death of Gwen. I want to see how his best friend turning against him. I want to see how he blames himself for Gwen's death. I want to see that there's something going on to me. But to me, I am excited for Sinister Six. I love the Sinister Six. I'm excited, but to me in general, it's like, oh my god, like they want to do it without Spider-Man. And I love Spider-Man as my character. I love Spider-Man. Batman, he's my second favorite character besides Batman. And I just don't like, to me, how you gonna have a Sinister Six without Spider-Man? It makes no sense at all. Like, why would you want to have a movie without Spider-Man? Like, why would you want to have a movie without Spider-Man? It makes no sense at all. It just
Right.
makes no sense to me. But I don't understand it. But I mean, if that's what they want to go for, go ahead. But it's just like you're putting yourself in the pigeonhole box, because my retort is, okay, you see the villain break into a rob. They rob, say, because they rob a bank or something like that. I'm just throwing a scenario out there. All right, and if
Mhm.
people want to say, where's Spider-Man? How you going to explain Spider-Man not being around? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. Right.
that's my thing with Sinister Six, though. But what I am going to say about Sinister Six, I think Sinister Six, it can be a great film if they do it right. If they don't, if like, here's the thing with me, man. I said about the main Spider-Man 2, it suffers the most from it, right? This is what happened with the main Spider-Man 2. When you first watch those trailers, you see Electro, and you be like, oh man, it was the greatest thing ever. And then you watch it and you see how Electro was just like this. I like the Jamie Foxx. I love Jamie Foxx's performance as Electro. I think he nailed it. But I think they could have done a lot more with that character. I think that, to me, my honest opinion, if they really want to do something different, they should bring back Electro, put him in the Sinister Six. I don't know in the original Sinister Six he is, but put Electro in it. Have Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker, Andrew Garfield have Spider-Man deal with Electro, even though he faced him in two. And to me, I feel like that's my thing with Sinister Six. But I think I'm more excited for Sinister Six than Batman vs Superman.
Hmm.
I'm more excited for Batman vs Superman. I'm excited for this film than that because I believe that if Sony do it right, they can nail it off, and I think Sony will be booked back in grace, and it will restore people's faith back into the major Spider-Man franchise. Because a lot of people hate this franchise, and to me, I don't hate it, and I'm going to agree with you, Cole Harley. I love the Sam Raimi Spider-Man more. I love Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I think I love this. I love this Spider-Man. I love it. I love this first Spider-Man, the first one. I love this Spider-Man, the second one. I mean, I think he was kind of a deuce in the first one, but you know how he treated Uncle Ben and stuff. But you know, it's a different version of it. But I
Hmm.
really believe that I believe that Sinister Six can be a great movie if done right. If they rush into it and they start getting money hungry and the execs and Sony start getting involved like they did with the Amazing Spider-Man 2, because Amazing Spider-Man 2 was a great movie to me. I love that movie. I loved it. I loved every moment of it. But I hope Sony execs don't get involved and say, you know what, we need to do this, we need to add all this stuff going on, and that will happen to the main Spider-Man 3. That too many villains. So my thing is, if you're gonna do it, add Spider-Man to it and have the villains right. Explain their backstory. Don't do it without exposition. Where every 2 minutes you gotta explain the character, explain the villain origin of what drove him to become a villain in the first place. But to me, another thing before I go on with just off on the two is that I know it sounds different because I know he came from originals. Get the same guy who played Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. Bring back bring back Doc Ock and put him in the Sinister Six. And get the
Hmm.
same actor. I think that man. Let me tell you something, man. I will go crazy because I love Spider-Man 2. And I think that to me, I really want to see Doc Ock. Cause Doc Ock is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. I like the Chameleon. I like Kingpin. I just want to. This is my Sinister Six. You know, Craven Mysterio, Vulture, Craven Mysterio, Craven Mysterio's Vulture.
Sandman.
Craven Mysterio's Vulture. Yeah, you know what? I'm a Sandman guy, but I don't think it would fit in this universe. It would make no sense.
Hmm.
Venom. I say Venom, and then Doc Ock to me that's my Sinister Six. But you know, like what so give me your six villains that should be in Sinister Six.
Okay, so basically my Sinister Six group would be like you said, Doc Ock would definitely be on the list. Green Goblin, Vulture, Carnage, Shocker, and yes, Mysterio.
Yeah. So I mean, what's your thought? I mean, what's your thoughts on Sinister Six? Do you think could it work without Spider-Man? Do you think it needs Spider-Man? Do they can do it without him?
Well, since it's supposed to be a movie about the Sinister Six or like the joining of the group, I
Yeah.
think they probably should like say like they make the movie, Sinister Six comes together, and they're probably at the end of the movie destroying everything, and like say like at the end of the movie they call Spider-Man out and say we want him and everything else. So that's what that's what I would say. And for them they're trying to do a Venom spin-off movie, and they said they want to put Carnage in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand they want to put Carnage in in that movie as well, but just try to make him Venom, not like how Topher Grace was Venom, like skinny type. Make him buff, like have the tentacles coming out of his back and everything. Same thing with Carnage. Do the same thing with that. Do the same thing like that too. Like have Cletus Cassidy be in there and have him be the host as of Carnage and have the two battle it out. And then probably sooner or later, you probably maybe down the line you may have Eddie Brock get the cancer and then turn him into anti Venom along the way. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, me, do you think that someone can pull it off? Do you think that do you think Sony can pull off the Sinister Six? Though? Do you think that it would? bring back people faith into the new Spider-Man franchise, or would it get Sony back into the cinematic game? Because let's be honest, right now, Sony is like Fox in their own way. They pigeonhole certain things. They can't really do a lot of things because don't have life certain type characters. But to me, I think Sinister Six can work. I think it's one of the movies that I mean, to me, I think it. Yeah, but I agree wholeheartedly. If like I agree with you said wholeheartedly. I love what your take on it. It's the fact that if they just doing it where it's like all members coming together and say, you know what, okay, you know what, Spider-Man destroyed me. Spider-Man did this to me, and Spider-Man, I want him destroyed. And like I said before, they all come together. Electro get together. Electro Mystery, Craven. All these guys get together and say, you know what, Spider-Man, we don't like Spider-Man. Spider-Man, destroyed me, or he did this to me, and I want revenge, and I want to team up and let's become a team so we can bring out Spider-Man. And then that's when you bring Andrew Garfield and Sinister Six too. I think it could work. I just think that you just have to you gotta, to me, the most important thing, if you're doing a movie based off villains, you gotta explain why they are a villain. You gotta give a good backstory. You gotta explain, okay, you know what, why they are a villain, why do they do why are the way they are, why they do certain things they do. They have to do certain things. You have to explain, okay, why is Mysterio a villain? Why what drove why of course I'm you explain why Electro is a villain, but why does the Craven Hunter want Spider-Man dead? You gotta explain why when he goes into it. But don't go into it like don't spend the full hour going into the backstory of why they hate it, and then you be like, what? His motivation for killing Spider-Man is stupid, but this is you gotta give it more reasons why. You gotta give Valor more reasons why why he wants to become a villain to me. And I think to me, I think it's really good work. I just think that if Sony do it right, because even Sony talking about doing Black Cat, you can put Black Cat in the Sinister Six.
Right.
You could. They introduced Black Cat, Felicia Hardy, and made Spider-Man 2 with one of the board members ex or the assistant to Harry Osborn. Like you can put in the Sinister Six, and you know what? If you put Black Cat in it, it will add more depth to it, and fans will say, you know what? Oh man, they got Black Cat. Where's Spider-Man at? And then you can set up the Sinister Six too right there. I mean,
Right.
there's so much you can do. There's so much you can do with the Sinister Six, and especially in this universe that with the type of characters that Sony has, from the Spider-Man villains and stuff. I think it could work. I just think you have to pace it. You have to do very well. You have to, you gotta be. The story gotta be so on point. The villain story, the villain motivation story, backstory gotta be so on point. So when it's time to get into the actions, you be like, oh man, it's different. And to me, I think the most important thing too as well, you gotta like. For me, I feel like to me when you talk about bringing Sinister Six, I recently I forgot what year it was. I'm recently reading the Sinister Six a comic. I'm reading a lot of comics in my closet, of course, and I was reading one of the issues about Sinister Six, and I feel like you need a team that Spider-Man can not just beat. You need a team that Spider-Man is gonna have a hard time with, and that's why I like Kraven the Hunter. I like Electro because he had a hard time with Electro when he made Spider-Man 2. I want Venom, I want Black Cat,
Right.
and I want Doc Ock. That to me, yeah, Black Cat, Doc Ock, and I want let me see who else, and I want Carnage. That's my Sinister Six. But that's my fantasy dream team of Sinister Six though. But what's your six though? Before we go to the topic.
Then we just discussed my six. I said Green Goblin, Sandman, Carnage, Mysterio, and Doc Ock. Oh, that was five. Green Goblin, Mysterio, Carnage, Doc Ock,
Yeah,
Shocker, and Vulture. So that was my Sinister Six Dream Team, pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah. All right, so that's the final thoughts on that topic.
Yep.
All right. Um, you read New 52?
Yeah, I do. Well, the only New 52 comics I read are Green Lantern, Justice League, Flash, and sometimes a little bit of Batman. But now that you said the Aquaman stories is good, I'm
Uh,
gonna start reading those. And
yeah,
oh yeah, I also been reading New 52 Teen Titans as well.
yeah.
So those
So I
are
mean, so I mean, What's your thoughts on New 52 though? Because I'm not a fan of it. I just I like the Aquaman run, but I just prefer the old 52 because I'm a classic guy. I prefer the old comics versus the new ones because I think these new comics they don't really do nothing. And
Right.
plus, how just for me, I don't have kids and none of that stuff. But like I don't like how the women are drawn in New 52. Like they just treat they look at women as sex symbols. Like I love Starfire, from Teen Titans and
Yeah.
how she's drawn in Teen Titans as this. She has sex with every guy. I remember, I'm like, oh my god, I don't like this too. It just
Exactly, exactly. When I read the first issue of Red Hood and the Outlaws, I was like, why did they make Starfire act like this? Like,
yeah,
why is she doing this type of stuff? And
yeah.
for
I
her,
mean, and that's my thing with too. It's like I have no problem with I mean, it's like I said before. Even when every comic book company does it. It's like movies to comics. Just everything happens. Change is going to come. Changes happen. You can hate it, you can love it. I just don't like New 52 because to me, I just don't like New 52 because I feel like as you know, I'm a Batman fan. I love Tim Drake, and everybody knows in New 52 right now he's Red Robin. But
yeah,
it was Scott Liddell. I think it was a couple years back. Scott Liddell, one of the guys DC head writers, he said Tim Drake was never Robin, and I said, well, okay, so he's Red Robin in New 52 then. So if he's Red Robin in New 52 then, why would he become Red Robin then if he was never Robin?
right.
It makes no sense to me, and that's my problem with the New 52. It's like New 52 got some great stories. Don't get me wrong. Like I
Yeah.
like Justice League War. I kind of like Justice League War. I like Justice League War. I think it was a different take on the Justice League. I mean, yeah. I mean, I didn't like Shazam. I don't like Shazam in the New 52. I think he's a spoiled brat. He's arrogant in his own way, but. I mean, I like his costume design, but I don't like how Billy Batson is this big jerk, in New
Right,
52.
right.
Yeah, I don't like that, but I
Wasn't
think New
really meant to
52.
like that.
Yeah, I think New 52 is one of the things that, to me, what makes New 52 a New 52 is I love it and I hate it at the same time. I
Hmm.
love the New 52 sometimes because it can. I love when comic book companies sometimes can reboot a character origin and retell it in different ways. I don't have a problem with that. But the reason why I prefer the old 52 versus the new 52, I prefer
Yep.
the like in the Blackest Night. That was before the new 52. I read that series yesterday. I recently got like all the issues and I read it. And it's before the new 52. I'm like, oh my god, like this is crazy. I have a lot of Superman comics too, so Batman comics. I have a lot of
Mhm.
Superman comics with the red trunk, with the red briefs and stuff. And those stories, just reading those stories yesterday because I read a lot of comics. I'm like, oh my god, man, this man, like, dude, like Superman stories back in the day was so better, was better, like, and New 52 right now, Superman is not a journal for, he's not a journal, he's not a news, he's not a reporter, he's not a journalist, what is he, what is he? Yeah, he's
He's
not a journalist,
a
huh?
newspaper type of person.
Yeah,
Like,
newspaper person, yeah, he's not a newspaper reporter in New 52. He writes blogs and stuff. And I don't like that. I'm like, he loses what makes him special. Also, I don't like it in New 52. I don't like no costume designs. I like some costume designs. Like, I like
right.
Batman costume
Yeah,
design in
yeah.
New 52. I think it's real cool. Let me see. I don't, to me, but one costume I do not like it's Superman costume 52. I don't like it. You got that big neck thing and the V thing in the middle.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like what's wrong? Like to me, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people gonna rip me for this in the comment section, and they gonna rip me apart. But to me, I prefer the old
I
classic
agree with
Superman
you. I agree
costume.
with you that. I
Huh?
really.
I prefer it. I love the classic look. I know a lot of people, even in the Man of Steel thing, people say they want the trunks. Like, yo, like, why does everything gotta be so different? Like, what's wrong with having the trunks? Like, even in the comics, like in the new 52, like I prefer the trunks. I prefer the old Superman, classic Superman, because I felt like that Superman to me felt more organic. That would make him special. Not the costume itself, but like when you look at Superman, he had every 5-year-old believing that he can fly. And just me. And one thing I do not like about New 52 sometimes is like I think New 52 sometimes it retells characters' origins and stuff like that. Like for me, verbatim for me, I prefer the older versus New 52 Justice League. Why? because New 52 just the old Justice League, you got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Aquaman. I like that. I felt like that unit was more better. It was more done. It was more team organized. Superman was the leader. Superman was the leader. He knew what he wanted. But in New 52, you got Batman, who's the leader. Nobody really listens to him. Nobody takes him seriously. And in New 52, Green Lantern's not part of the Justice League. It's Cyborg and it's Shazam, which I have no problem with them because it's the New 52, so it's different. But I prefer the old Justice League, like I prefer Justice League in the cartoons because I feel like, to me, I'm a traditional guy. I love traditional stuff. Like that's why I love Batman the Animated Series, one of my favorite shows. I still watch to this day from that show. But I love the old stories of DC because I feel like it was more tight knit. It was more fun. Back in the day, you could have fun in comics. Nowadays, everything is so dark and gritty. It's not fun anymore. And also one thing I hate about the New 52. Every week is a Batman book. Every week a new Batman series get totally announced. I love Batman. But I'm getting tired of the character because I'm like, okay, can we get other characters like Static Shock and New 52? He had a
Oh,
couple of books.
yeah, Static Shock only got like 8 issues in New 52, and I didn't read them yet, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna go and read and see how it feels like. But yeah, you're right. New 52 is not. The only thing that I would say that they continued from New 52 was after Blackest Night, they continued that route with Green Lantern. That's the only thing that they continued with in New 52.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
them to change everything up, like the Teen Titans were formed. You have Kid Flash, who's from the future and like from the 31st century, and he's like and you have Beast Boy having red skin this time, which when I saw that, I was like, why is Beast Boy red? I was like,
Yeah.
what happened to him?
Yeah.
And they even made Raven look like her costume looked like an actual Raven.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
basically New 52 just took everything and just change up the story. But the only thing I enjoyed from New 52 was Forever Evil, which was basically like this whole villain takeover thing. That was the only
Yeah.
thing of New 52 I enjoyed. That was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause that's my thing with me is like I got so mad. Like, I love Static Shock as a character, but I'm so mad. Like a Batman series get canceled, they start a new one. Static got 8 issues in New 52, and this dude can't even get one series, right? He can't even get he can't even get a second chance. Like I love Static. I love Static Shock as a character. I love his show. I think Static is a great character, and I think DC can do so much with Static Shock because he's so different. Did you see the show Young Justice?
Yes, he barely got any screen time. He only showed up
Yeah,
in
yeah,
second season.
yeah,
I really
yeah,
enjoyed Young Justice. I don't
yeah,
know why it had to be canceled, but Young Justice was like on the ball, it had people rolling, and then for them to announce that it's gonna be canceled in January like that,
yeah.
it just brought me down. And
It
then
was
to
a
have
super.
it
Yeah,
end on a cliffhanger with
yeah,
Darkseid coming at the end, I was like, why would you do this? You put
yeah,
one of the
yeah,
biggest DC supervillains at the end, and you just end the show right there. You can't do that.
yeah. I mean, and the thing was for me was another character I liked from the Young Justice, but never really. I'm so mad they don't do nothing with this character. I'm so mad. Oh my God, Icon from Young Justice.
Yes,
I
Icon.
can't. Oh my God! I got his issues. I went to this. I went to this store. This website called my. There's this website called mycomicshop.com where you can purchase old comics. I
Hmm.
brought all 38 issues of Icon. Let me tell you, it was not one bad issue. I read Icon. DC got Icon now in the New 52. They don't have Icon. Icon does not have one book. And he's the Black Superman. I'm like, oh my God, this book.
Right.
You gotta read it, man. It's a real good book. I paid 80 cents a piece. Like each issue was like 80 cents a piece. So like real cheap. Cause like way back, it was done way back in the day. Cause you get real cheap comics back in it on that website for real cheap.
Hmm.
But and I'm like, I read the Icon series. They had Icon and Young Justice, and I was like, okay, I would think to myself, Icon getting this push, and then you got the sidekick, the black girl, Rocket. I'm like, oh my God, I like Icon as a character. I never heard of Icon before. I read the issues. I'm like, I love the character now. But I'm so mad, like, in Static Shot, they don't want to give him a book. They don't want to give Icon a book because, and I understand why they don't want to give Icon a book because there was one issue, I just gonna tell you about one issue, where him and Superman is going out, they're just fighting. he punched Superman back, and Superman falls back. He's same strong. His strength level's on the same level as Superman's. And I
Mhm.
understand why DC don't want to do it because it's the black Superman, and they'll say, you know what? Well, hold on, you got this black man or this black superhero who calls himself Icon, and he's on the same strength level as Superman. So we can't show how strong he is because that will overshadow Superman to me. But to me, I want Icon to get his own series in New 52, and that's my problem with New 52. Is more like it's more everything. It's like and to me overall, I never read Green Lantern. I never read Green Lantern in New 52 because I hear good things about it, as far as the good stories wise. But to
Mhm.
me, I just don't. I never been a fan of the New 52 because I feel like if it went broken from the begin with. Like, what was wrong with the old continuity? What was wrong with the Blackest Night? What was wrong with What was wrong with these other iconic stories? Like, what was wrong with the bat? What was wrong with Superman keeping his classic costume? What was wrong with to me, like I have Tim Drake. Tim Drake, like Dick Grayson is my favorite Robin. Tim
Mhm.
Drake is my second favorite Robin. And to me was I got Tim Drake old series, Robin. I got all his books. I think it's 100 issues, whatever, so and so. And
Okay.
I'm reading issues like Robin, like Tim Drake is my favorite Robin. Besides Dick Grayson. And
Mhm.
I was saying, I was playing. People were like, "Oh man, it's cool, different." And I'm so mad. Also, pisses me on like about New 52. Tim Drake. I want Tim Drake to have his own series, man. Tim Drake is I love Red Robin, dude. I love Tim Drake, man. I want him to have his own series because Batman constantly Batgirl has her own series. I love Gail Simone writing. I think she's an excellent writer. I love Batgirl. I love
Mhm.
Nightwing. I love the new Nightwing book. Where he's a spy. Even though I'm on the fence of that book. I read the first two issues. It was a pretty good issue. You gotta get into it. I don't know if you into
I
that book
have,
or
I
not,
have.
but
I read the first issue of Grayson. Yeah, it seems pretty good, so I might hop onto it.
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
But
and I was yeah,
yeah. So what I was gonna say was, like how you said Tim Drake was your favorite. Tim Drake is my favorite Robin too. My second favorites are basically between Dick Grayson or Jason Todd because Red Hood is really good. It's awesome. Like Red Hood is really awesome. But yeah,
yeah,
for like Nightwing had his own series, and even in the New 52 had his own series as well. Batgirl had her own series with multiple with switching from Cassandra to Stephanie. That was yeah, that was the main thing. But yeah, I agree with you. Like how Icon hasn't appeared once in New 52, or
yeah,
you got some other DC superheroes out. You have a lot of and Legion of Superheroes did had a New 52, but that didn't last that long either. It probably
yeah,
lasted for like
yeah, yeah.
12, I think probably 12 issues, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing with me is like, yo, I want Red. Like for me, I want Red Robin to get his own book because I feel like Tim Drake to me, like and I want to talk about the Red Hood thing too, the Red Hood character. To be
Okay.
honest with you, man, to be strictly honest with you, I agree with you that I think I like Red Hood, but I'm not a fan of the character really though. Like I don't know what it is about that character. Like to me, I like him better than Damien because I think Damien's a spoiled brat, but I hate
He
Damien.
was, and he was, he really was. And
I
now they're
hate
trying to
Damien.
bring him back.
Yeah, I hate Damien. And I want to talk about that too. Too, they want to bring back Damien. I think Robin Rises or Batman and Robin. I'm not. I think they did. I think recently. I mean, DC Comics recently released a image of Stephanie Brown. I think Stephanie Brown in Robin costume, Damian Wayne and Tim Drake. I don't know who it was in the two pictures. I know it's Stephanie Brown, Tim Drake, and it's Damian Wayne in this issue. I'm like, you bringing this dude back, man? Keep him dead, man. Like, keep him dead. Like with Jason Todd, I can get away with. I'm cool with Jason, even though I think sometimes he kind of like I don't get Red Hood sometimes because I read Red Hood and the Outlaws and it put a bad taste in my mouth because I remember reading Red Hood and the Outlaws. I'm like, this is god awful, terrible, man. What is this? It's just completely terrible. It's like trash. So, but I will give Jason Todd the benefit of the doubt. I like Jason Todd more better than Damien. But I remember reading Damien and the New 52. I don't like New 52 is like this. I understood what Grant Morrison was trying to do. Or Snyder, I don't know who created Damien, but when they gave Damian Wayne, I was like, why does Damien why is Damien so much of an asshole, man? Like I was watching it was issue with Red Robin when Batman Bruce Wayne died and Tim Drake was going on a hunt. He was trying to figure out, oh, Bruce is not dead. And Dick, this is what Dick Grayson is Batman. Dick is
Right.
Batman. So, and I think it's Damian Wayne and Tim Drake. They going at it. They fighting one another. Tim Drake whooping. He's beating the crap out of Damian. Right? He's beating the crap out of Damian. Damian has to, because I would think to myself that Damian, you were trained by the League of Assassins. Your mother's Talia al Ghul. Your grandfather is Ra's al Ghul. I think you'll be better fighter. Tim Drake whooped his behind, and he only used cheap tactics to beat him. I'm like, but and he said he was a better Robin. I'm like, I don't like Tim. I don't like Damian Wayne. I don't like Damian Wayne as a character. I wish he stayed dead. He needs to stay dead. Like, that's the only character. And to me, I love Batman characters. Like, I love Cassandra Cain. I love Stephanie Brown. Spoiler. I love, you know what I'm saying? I love Jason Todd. Well, I'm not in love with Jason Todd, but I can deal with his character. I love Dick Grayson. I love Nightwing. I love Tim Drake. I love Bruce. I love Alfred. I love Commissioner Gordon. I love Batman characters.
Right.
But Damian Wayne, he could just stay there. He needs to stay there because I don't. Please don't bring him back because he's just terrible writing. Maybe because the way they write him and the way he acts himself in the comic, like that was watching him. Yeah. You watch Son of Batman?
Yes, I did. Son of Batman. Yeah, I did.
Oh my God, I hated that movie, man. It was just terrible. The voice actor.
The way they made him act in that movie, he was more like a killer in that movie instead of an actual Robin. Yeah. So. Yeah, that was
like and one thing for me was not just Damian, but the guy who voiced Batman was just terrible. I'm like, oh my God, like this dude is just terrible, trash, yo. But you know one thing I did not like about that Son of Batman, and it goes off into New Two thing. Son of Batman to me, it could have had so much potential to me. The only problem I had with that film was the way Damian acted. Like there was a scene where Damian was in the car, and after that Damian was in the cave, right? Mm-hmm. He looks at the costume, and Dick says, you do remember that scene when Dick was in the cave? And he's looking at Dick old costume, and he's like, nice costume. And he's like, keep your hands off my costume, that's mine. And he's like, but I'm the son of Bruce Wayne. I'm like, okay, what does it got to do with anything, man? What the hell? Like, that's one thing I hate about Damon as a character. He feels just because he's Bruce Wayne, he's entitled to that. But that's what I love about Tim Drake out of all the Robins, that he had to earn it. He knew Batman. Right. Of course, he knew Bruce was Batman, but Tim Drake knew 9 times out of 10. He knew 9 times out of 10 going into this world. He knew that he knew 9 times out of 10. He knew that he had to earn it. Like when he was training with Lady Shiva, and she gave him the bow staff because Tim Drake fighting skills not on the same level as Bruce, so he gave him a bow staff instead. All that stuff like that. That's why I don't like Damien, because I feel like Damien is a spoiled brat that just because he feels that his mother's Talia al Ghul and his grandfather's Ra's al Ghul, that Damien needs to stay there. I'm so mad at bringing him back. Like, man, why do you got to bring him back? Why don't you just, like, for me, and I know people will lose their wig back. You remember when do you remember when Marvel did Miles Morales?
No, I don't think I do.
Ultimate Spider-Man one, where Peter died in the Ultimate Universe.
Oh, right, yeah.
Miles had black people lost their wit, people lost their mind because Miles Morales.
I saw your video about that. I saw your video. That was the first
and
video.
He was black, and people were just mad about. I'm like, and my retort was like, to me, this is some iconic stuff because I never seen a black Spider-Man before, and whether you know or not, I got all the Miles Morales issues, and I love Miles Morales as a character. I wish they do more with the character. I feel like, they need to make him, like, for real, like, to me, they really need to make him a movie. Like, I believe that people will never accept it because it's not Peter Parker, but I think it's sad to hear that. But, but my thing was, it's like, I said some real stuff, and I know you can kind of agree with me right here, is that, look, out of all the Robins, I have no problem with, I have nothing against Dick, Jason, Tim. I have no problem against those guys. I have nothing against them at all. I fully support it. But what I am going to say is going to piss off a lot of people, and they don't want to hear it, but it's so true. I think it's time for Black Robin.
Yeah.
It's time. Good. It's time. I mean, it's time because I think that, first of all, the reason why I say it's time for Black Robin is because, first of all, Batman books, I read Batman. I've been reading Batman Eternal. I've been reading some Bat books in the New 52. They just don't spark my interest anymore because it's boring as hell because you bring it back, Damien. So I'm not that, and that's why I hate Benefic too as well. But you bringing back Damien, but instead it's like, okay, you bring back Damien. How about you do what you did to Jason Todd, do Damian Wayne? Give him a new persona. Don't let him be Robin, and you know what I'm saying like that. Give him a Black Robin. I
Right.
want a Black Robin to me. I want a Black Robin. I know it sounds weird to a lot of people because I know a lot of people do not want that. But think about it. With Batman, you can't get away with it. If they made Batman black, people would have rights. People should have right to be pissed off about it because Batman's a white character. It's always gonna be like that. But Robin is a sidekick. There's so many Robins out there. Make Robin black. And I know a lot of people are like, oh man, it's a stupid idea. Why would you make Robin black? Think about it. It would get people to buy the comic first. It will first of all people will buy the comic to see wow like and first of all the reason why I say me Robin Black is the fact to see how Bruce deals with this not not because he's a black not because he's black but you got a different looking Robin and look nothing like the other Robins and he has something to prove going on in me and to me if I had to explain my origin if I had to complete an origin for this character if I would do or I would not give him a just entire type origin I would give him more like a kid that was more like he kind of like he grows up in a rough and tough neighborhood. A kid is more like you know what he grows up in Dark City. He grows up in Gotham City, and he grows up in Gotham City, and you know his whole life he grew up in a rough and tough neighborhood, and you know he idolizes Batman. Batman, he's kind of like the Tim Drake type character. He idolizes Batman. He wants to do good. He's tired of seeing the innocent get hurt. And one night he sees Batman. One night he sees Batman. One day, you know, one day he's coming home. One day,
Mm-hmm.
you know, one day he's coming home from a store, and you know, these kids is picking on him. The bullies picking on some guys picking on the kids. Some boogies picking on them. Batman comes out of nowhere. Batman comes out of nowhere, saves his kid. But when Batman sees this kid before Batman steps in, he sees this kid fighting these grown adults and he sees something that a lot of people don't have. And this kid's coming along the process, and this kid idolizes Batman because he always wanted to be what it was like to be a kid for Cal of it. And he looks at the kid, and he's like, oh my God, it's Batman. Batman gets away, he beat the mug up, whether he beat the guys up and stuff like that. And he drives the kid home, and he's like, I idolized you, and so, and just this ain't going on for him. He's a kid that he's not a bad person. Nothing dark happened to him, but he's just a kid that wants to do right. He wants to do justice because he grew up in Gotham City his whole life. So he was like, you know what, I want to do good. And Bruce sees something like that because Damien has a new persona now. His son Damien has a new persona. He sees the potential of it. And what happens is, he comes across Batman. Batman comes across Batman. He's driving in the car, and he sees his kid. He's talking to the kid like, "I'm impressed with you, kid. Like you were standing up for yourself." He sees his kid. But what makes his kid special is that put him as a teenager though. Make him a teenager though. Like make him have like when he's 16 years old and have an older Robin. To me, I think to have Robin as a teenager, it would make add depth onto the character. Because think about it, Dick was young when he put on the costume. Jason was young when he put on the costume. Tim was young when he put on the costume. Why
Yeah.
not have this guy become a teenager? Why not have the black teenager? Have him be black, be a teenager, be rough, be this kid that just he's not rough around the edges. He's not Jason Todd. He's not a Dick. He's not a Tim. But he's a character that just more. He's different. He feel like he has something to prove. The kids constantly the bullies constantly pick on this dude. And Batman sees the kid, he starts to make him Robin, but instead of just giving him that persona, he earns like Tim Drake does, and he earns his way up to me. And plus, I would love to see how Dick Grayson. Well, even though Dick Grayson's a secret agent, he has to keep his identity a secret. I would see how Batgirl, Red Robin, Red Hood. Alfred, I would love to see how they respond towards that though. What's your thoughts on
Well, my thing is that to have, well, like you said, to have a Black Robin, that does sound like a good idea. And I want to expand on that. Have you heard of Batwing before?
Yeah, I heard Batwing before. I actually read some of his issues. It's real good.
Well,
It's real good actually.
I didn't read some of his issues, but I heard of him. He's basically, of course, the Batman of Africa. Why not have
Uh,
let Batwing have a psychic so that can make him more like a Robinish type of Robin type of African American type of Robin. Because you
mhm.
already got an African type of Batman, why not have an African American type of Robin?
Yeah.
that's why I think that's what they were going with in Batman Incorporated. I mean, the only issue I read in Batman Incorporated was the issue that Damian died in. That was the only issue I read.
Mhm.
So, which I agree with that. To have an African American Robin, like have him roughen up a bit, be like have him a tough life, a tough family, going through the hardships in a heavy crime filled type city. That sounds really brilliant to have to move it into the persona. That sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, cause even to me was even when Black Batwing hit Brooks Beach got canceled to me, and I know it may sound crazy. It's now that Dick Grayson is no longer now that Dick Grayson is no longer now that Dick Grayson is no longer Nightwing.
Hmm.
I know it may sound weird, Luke Fox or Luke Fox, and to me it may sound crazy, but I really want to see him take on the Nightwing mantle, but call him Blackwing instead, though.
That could work. That could
Huh?
work.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Think about it. He's already proven to Bruce in the issue in the Batwing issues. He's proven to Bruce that he's worthy of it. When he goes to Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson gives him approval, and he becomes Blackwing. And same electric sticks. I believe it could work though, but I don't know, man. People flip out and lose their mind. They like that because Nightwing has always been Dick Grayson. But think about it, Dick Grayson is a spy now, so he's not Nightwing anymore. And get Luke Fox, you take him out of the Batwing suit and put him in a Nightwing suit and just. But I don't know though. It could work. You just gotta find ways to just make it. But like I said before, I think it could work though. Like to have Luke Fox Batwing, become Blackwing, not Nightwing, but call him Blackwing. Because I mean, first of all, it would be a cool idea, cool, unique idea towards it to me. But I just think to me overall, before we go into the topic, too, I just think that I have to say this: New 52 to me, it's a love hate relationship with it.
Hmm.
But to me, New 52, if it can get better, to me, it just has to get better. I just to me, I just want to see more other characters besides Batman and two. That's all I want. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I really want Icon. I want Static Shock. I want Rocket. She was on Young Justice. I want they did you hear about the news about Wally West being half black
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Pulse? I like that, man. It may seem pissed off a lot of people, but I like that because I saw the picture. I'm like, yo, like it actually could work though. It actually could work. I don't know if people be pissed off about it, but I still think it could work though. I still think it truly could work though. I still think it truly could work though.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's your final thoughts on New 52?
Yeah, that's my final thoughts.
Yeah. The next topic is the next topic is Guardians of the Galaxy. You
Okay.
know, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. And well, the reason why I bring this topic up because I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you this question.
Sure.
After seeing Guardians of the Galaxy, do you think that it's going to change superhero movies forever? It's going to change how people look at superhero genre as a whole?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're a team, and it showed people like you don't need solo movies to have team movies, but that's what they did with the Avengers. Guardians of the Galaxy, they're a team right from the beginning. So
Yeah,
there goes to show people they can do whatever they want with a team, a superhero team.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but overall, to me, was going in like because I know I read your review. It was a very excellent review. I give credit for that.
Thank
Um,
you.
but good. To me, but me going into Guardians of the Galaxy and everybody obviously you see it in the background now. To me, me seeing Guardians of the Galaxy and me being not familiar with it,
Hmm.
I remember going into that movie, seeing it. It was on a Thursday or it was a Friday or Thursday. It was Friday or Saturday. I don't know what day, what time, what day I saw it. It was I saw it on Saturday. Guardians of the Galaxy. I saw it on 2D because I can't see 3D because it was glasses. I actually with glasses, and you
Okay.
can't tell by it was actual glasses. But well, I remember seeing Guardians of the Galaxy. And what was so amazing about Guardians of the Galaxy to me overall, what I really enjoyed about it was well it was different, and unique. I was talking about Star Lord, Peter Quill, and Gamora, Rocket Raccoon, Groot, and then you know what I'm saying. Then you have Drax the Destroyer. Like I was watching this stuff. I remember watching it for the first time, and I was like, because I remember seeing the Winter Soldier, and they played the previews of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I said
Mhm.
to myself, these movies look stupid, it's dumb as world. Like really, like you really don't get me to care about Talking Tree and the Raccoon. You don't
Mhm.
get me to care about somebody named Gamora who's an assassin who works for Thanos and Roman the Accuser. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought it was stupid, and then you go into the movie, you see in it, and you be like, I love it.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
I mean, it made you. I never thought a million years because you know I was at Walmart today. I got like three posters. I got all the three posters of the two posters back there. I saw at Walmart. I brought three Guardians of the Galaxy posters. Like my room is covered in posters now. And you know, I got like I got the Captain America, I got the the Winter Soldier, the Captain America 2, the Winter Soldier poster, and I have like posters everywhere. And I got like Guardians of the Galaxy in my room and stuff. And to
Mhm.
me, like I love Guardians of the Galaxy now. Like seeing that stuff, I'm like, oh my god, this movie made me care. And you know, for me, I didn't, you know, and people like I think the only people talking about that movie was like, well, their villain was stupid enough. Roman the Accuser was not enough a villain. To me,
Yeah.
I feel like that movie was more to me. It was more about the team than the villain. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
think it was like, yo, and to me, one thing to me I got to give credit to was the soundtrack. I like the soundtrack to that
Yeah.
song.
The soundtrack. That was a good soundtrack.
The soundtrack was real good. One thing I also enjoyed, one thing I really also enjoyed, about the you know, Guardians of the Galaxy was it was just different. You know, I never thought in a million years a talking tree and a raccoon could work, but it did.
It really did.
It changed it. I mean, you can't. I mean, even if you a DC fanboy, even if you just love DC and you just praise everything, you gotta admit it opens up a new genre now. With space nowadays, like you got, you know, next year, you know, Marvel releasing, you know, Star Wars Episode 7.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta admit, man, DC did, and I think this will prove too as well that DC, you know what, you can do a space movie if done right. You can make it work.
Right. Right.
Guardians of the Galaxy, man. What more can I say about it? It was flawless to me, and I don't give about tens that much. 10 out of 10 for me. I mean, it was a good movie. I mean, funny moments, the comedy added on to it. I love the Rocket Raccoon, how he kind of made jokes about it. You know, the moment with with Groot dies and stuff like that, he grows back, and I'm like, yo, like you got like if you don't have no heart, if you do not laugh at that movie, you have no heart, you have no
Right.
soul.
Right.
The kid in you, it made you care about superheroes again. Because the last superhero movies I saw, I love the Winter Soldier. That movie was 10 out of 10 for me too. But just like the last superhero movies I saw, the last DC movies, I've been watching a lot of DC movies. When I've been seeing DC movies and I prepared DC movies, I'm like, why can't DC movies can be this much fun? Why can't
Right.
comedy be added on to it? I ain't talking about just throw a joke in there where it's not needed. What I'm saying is that what's wrong with having fun in your movies? Like when they were talking about Roman the Accuser, and it was like, Peter Quill was talking to the guy, and he's like, "Come on, dance, it's a dance off." Like, what the hell are you doing? Stalling. And he took the purple stone from
Yeah.
him. I'm like, man, you got like, dude, that movie, flawless fucking movie. I love it. I can't. There's nothing that. What else can I say that made me? Oh my, this movie, man. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I love
Exactly.
it. Like
Exactly.
I love Guardians of the Galaxy now. I can't. There's nothing I cannot do. They make that like I love that movie. I have seen that movie right now. I've seen that movie 5 times right now. I'm gonna see it 5 more times. I saw the Avenger 20 times. So I love that movie, man. Like, what was your thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy though when you saw it?
All I gotta say is that that movie was so brilliantly made. How they just brought the team together like that. Everyone, like the actors that they chose, they were really good choices.
Definitely.
Batista's as Drac, Zoe Saldana did a really good job as a Gamora. Ever since I seen that movie, I can't stop staring at Zoe Saldana anymore. So
Yeah.
Chris Pratt as Star Lord, he was really good. He was really good. And then just to have Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel's voice as Groot in Rocket, that was a nice touch. Even though Groot is just a tree that only says I am Groot for That's the only thing that he says. He still people may think he's just a tree, a giant talking tree that only says 3 words, but even though he has a heart and he has feelings.
Were you like, what, were you familiar with Guardians of the Galaxy though before this year though?
Well, when they announced it, I wasn't familiar with it, and then when the years were getting closer to the movie, like they put Guardians of the Galaxy in Ultimate Spider-Man, they put him in Avengers Assemble. I started getting familiar with the characters now and then, finding out Gamora is Thanos' adopted daughter.
Hmm.
Groot is a tree life form that only says 3 words. Rocket's weapon specialist. So yeah, as the months went on to the movie, I got familiar with the characters a lot more.
So overall, for me, so you came across Guardians at the same time I did.
Yeah,
You did. So I mean, when you first saw it, like, be honest though, when you saw that trailer, were you interested? Like, did you like, this is not gonna work? Is it stupid? When you first heard it when they announced it?
I was interested in. I didn't say like this is gonna be bad. And I mean, when I saw it, when I showed my parents the trailer, my mom was like, "I don't want to see this. I don't even like this." And then we went to go see it, and I told my mom that we saw it already. She said, "You guys saw it without me," and I said, "You didn't want to see it."
Oh, she
So
loved the movie now.
she totally missed out on all the good stuff that happened. She's already just judging the movie by just the trailer when there's a whole lot more than just what's in the trailer.
Oh. So you was kind of like, you was interested into the thing. You just never really. It was like one of them things come across. Because I remember when they first announced it, I'm like, Guardians of the Galaxy, what's that?
Yeah,
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 it's like this. Guardians of the Galaxy. I never heard of this stuff before. And then I kind of like, for me, because I got some issues recently. I have a comic store in Atlanta. You live in Atlanta?
I live in New York.
You live in New York? Okay. I live in Atlanta, and
Oh,
I got this comic store because there's very few comic stores in Atlanta. You have to really search around for them things. But I got I purchased like 20 issues of them things, like 80 cents a piece.
mhm.
And man, I was in love with it because I'm like, dude, this movie was you. It's like, for those people that complain about, one thing about Marvel movies, I'm going to defend Marvel. I know a lot of people don't want to defend Marvel and stuff like that. Sometimes when Marvel make movies and stuff, people say Marvel films are boring because they don't have understand. Like when you watch Thor: The Dark World, Malachi, how you say his name? Like, he was not missing villain. And to me, our rhetoric is, to me, is the fact that I think one thing I love about Marvel, I give Marvel credit for. Here's the thing with DC. It's like, if you compare Marvel to DC right now, DC overall, they have villains. They villains for some reason is different. But with Marvel, they treat their villains different. Like, I was watching like, you watch Iron Man 3?
Yes, I did.
Did you love the movie?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed the whole part with the suits coming out on their own. That was my favorite part of the movie. But
Yeah.
the only thing that got me, well, of course, was the Mandarin type thing, saying like he's just an actor pretending to be Mandarin. Then finding out at the end, Killian comes out saying you want the Mandarin. You're looking right at it, and then to have Pepper kill him at the end. That was kind of a little off, but the whole fight scene at the end, that was really good.
So did you like the Mandarin twist though? Like, did you like the Mandarin twist?
I mean, yeah, the twist was really confusing though. Like when I saw the trailer, I was like, "This is gonna be the Mandarin." Wow. And it's like they actually gave him the 10 rings just like in the comic books. And then when you
Mm-hmm.
just see Tony Stark come busting in, it's like, "This is the Mandarin. You're the Mandarin." I was like,
You know what? I have to say this though. I want to defend this because I know a lot of people going they slaughter this movie for what it is. Iron Man 3. For what you want to say about it, man. I
yeah,
love that movie.
yeah, me too. I
I
really
love
did.
it. I don't care what nobody say. Iron Man 3 to me is one of the movies, like, to me, I'm not familiar with the Mandarin because I never really cared for the Mandarin no way. Anyway, when I first saw the Iron Man 3 trailer, I was watching it and I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I liked it because it was different. And you know what? And one thing I really want to say this for them dumb people out there that was complaining about Iron Man 3. I liked it that Tony was out of the suit. He spent most of his time out of the suit. He was trying to figure out who is
Yeah,
real, Tony Stark or Iron Man. Who's more real? I liked the fact that he drove, like, when he went with the suit, when the suit malfunctioned, when Jarvis had malfunctioned, and he was driving the suit through the snow. I liked it that. I liked it the moment where he was actually going to a nail shop, building his gadgets and stuff going around. I
Mm.
liked it that. I liked it the moment where he was like, I love the moment where it was like to me. And also, I want to say this to those people who complain about Iron Man 3. People, get over it, okay? It's a good movie. If you don't like the Mandarin twist, fine, okay. Everybody entitled to their opinion. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to love it. You don't have to hate. You don't have. You can hate it for all you want to. People, stop nagging and complaining about something. To me, I feel like this is how I feel about Iron Man 3. People, if you let that one scene deter you and say, you know what, I hate Iron Man 3. That twist was stupid. But you think about it, when you think about a superhero, right? You got a hero and you got a villain, right?
Yeah.
Now the villain motivation to become a villain, it gotta be justified, right?
Yeah.
Killian was screwed over by Tony, right? Tony
Yep.
Killian was screwed over by Tony, right? So
Yep.
him being screwed over by Tony, he feels that, you know what? Forget that. I'm gonna form AIM. I'm gonna form Extremis. I'm gonna get back at Tony. I'm gonna blow his house up. I'm gonna take Pippa away from him. And I'm like, that's some good stuff right there. And to create a persona like the Mandarin, to keep the people off his back, because if they find out who he really was, AIM will be destroyed. That was a smart twist of it, and I love that twist personally. Because think about, I want somebody really, I want those Mandarin fans, people who complain about the Mandarin. I ain't talking about you, but I want those people who complain about their Mandarin twist. All right, people, make it believable. How you think you can get old Ben Kingsley? How you gonna make it believable having the guy with 10 rings fight guy in the Iron Man suit without before it become corny?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
like how you gonna make it believable? And that's the thing with people. They need to get over it. People need to get their head out their behind and understand the fact that that movie. For what? Say what you want to say. The movie was a great movie. It was a flaw. I won't say flawless because it had plot holes in it. But Iron Man 3, for what it is, like when Tony Stark was like when what's the dude named John Favreau was in the scene. And he was in the extreme shoulder. He's in the hospital. He's blowing up. And Tony Stark, he recreated the whole crime scene going on for me. And I said for those same people that complain about Iron Man 3. And I hate to say this, Tony Stark in comics, Tony Stark period, was not known for his detective work. At least he did more work. He did more detective work than Christopher Nolan Batman, who in Dark Knight Rises didn't do no detective work. He did some detective work, but he didn't do no detective work really. He rarely used any of the gadgets. He didn't do anything. He rarely used the utility belt. He rarely did anything besides Batman Begins the Dark Knight. But in the Dark Knight Rises, he was just a guy moping around, didn't do anything about it until he got his um his mom purse stolen, and now he also interested in joining to becoming Batman again. Like, come on, man. Like, at least Tony Stark actually was trying to be something different, and that's what I loved about
Mhm.
Iron Man 3. Like, I hated Iron Man 2 because I feel like it was just a big commercial for the Avengers, and I understood they were trying to set the Avengers up, and it's all part of the process and stuff. But I love Iron Man 3 because I felt Iron Man 3 was one of the movies that it just like, I loved it more because it was just like, it showed, I love when they show the hero where it's like a person's outside of the costume, he's questioning, am I doing the right thing? Who is more important, Tony Stark or Iron Man? You know what I'm saying? I liked it that. And I just hated that people just took that one bad scene of the Mandarin twist and a good, ruined a good movie. Like,
Right.
how you gonna let one bad scene determine and deter you, saying, "Oh, well, this movie's stupid, so
Exactly.
I don't like
Exactly.
it." Yeah,
Exactly.
how you gonna let one bad twist deter you from saying, "Okay, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that"? Like, man, look, people get over it. Come on, man, it was actually a smart to me. If I was a villain, I would be thinking like that. Like, I created a persona to keep people off my back. I mean, it's a smart idea, but I just
Mhm.
hated that people doing it. To me, it's like, and also, I heard a lot of people complaining about Guardians of the Galaxy. Why does he say I am Groot? Well, I'm not familiar with the character, but after me reading Groot as a character, that's all he says. That's part of his persona.
Yes.
That's part of who he is.
Yes.
That's it. And I think that's the problem I have with people. Like, I don't have no problem with the comic book fans that know the source material. They go into the movie having the expectation. You got to know what you're getting yourself into. But those 1% of those guys who never read a comic in their life, and they be like, well, they screwed over the Mandarin. And you ask them, well, give me one story. Give me one storyline that made the Mandarin interesting. Give me
Well,
one storyline besides
yeah,
the 10
yeah,
rings.
yeah,
Yeah, and take the 10 rings away. What is he? He's a regular villain. He is a regular villain that he's just a regular villain with magical powers. just like Loki. But Loki actually is a god of mentions though.
Yes.
Loki and Mandarin is two different villains. So you understand what goes into that though. So that's your final thoughts on it.
Uh, yeah, that's my final thoughts on everything. So what do we got next?
Justice League Justice League Throne of Atlantis. The Aquaman new movie coming up real soon. I'm not
Right.
familiar with the Aquaman character a little bit. So what do you expect in Justice League? Have you read the issue? Have you read it before?
Yeah, I
I haven't
did. I
read
did.
it.
I have.
It was
Well,
it.
I read the Justice League issues of it. I didn't read the Aquaman issues of it. So I read the story how Ocean Master comes up, terrorizes the land, brings up Atlantis and everything, and then Batman tells Cyborg to call people for help. Like he calls Zatanna, he calls Element Woman, he calls Firestorm, all these people for help, and then sooner or later they have them join the League. So yeah, I remember like Ocean Master being that type of dictator trying to rule the land, and having with Aquaman, he had his wife on his side to help him out. So that was a really good storyline. But for the movie, I'm really excited for this, even though they changed up the actors from Justice League War. The only person that they didn't change was Batman, of course. They did bring back Nathan Fillion, who's the voice of Green Lantern in Justice League. Well, he's done the voice for Green Lantern like 3 times. So
Mhm.
for them to bring him back though, which is good. That was a good thing to do. So I think this movie's gonna be good. I'm excited for this.
Do you think? I mean, because let's be honest with me, for years, I mean, because even I was one of the guys that made fun of say Aquaman stupid until I read the Lucy Two run. Do you think that it's gonna be more of an origin story, or it's gonna be more about Justice League?
Well, concerning, I've seen some information about the movie, like seeing like the make. I saw the behind the scenes look of it, like how the making of the
Uh huh.
movie. Seen some clips, and I've seen some stuff saying like how it's showing Aquaman working on a boat, showing Aquaman coming into a bar and everything. Yeah, I feel like it might be like 60% of Aquaman and 40% of Justice League. I know that's how it's gonna be like, but it's still I think it's gonna be good.
I mean, how I feel about it, man, is technically it's like I hope, me for me, because I'm not really familiar with the Aquaman character. I hope to me, I hope this is my hope for just the. I hope they do. I hope it's better than Son of Batman. I hope it's better than on Solo Arkham because I've been just recently DC animated films been letting me down. I'm really excited for this film. One of my biggest things for me was what I want in this film was I really want to see Aquaman be put in a popular situation because for years, Aquaman has been one of them characters that's constantly
That
been,
people just hate. People
yeah,
just like throw across the
yeah,
sideline.
yeah. He's been a butt jokes. Like when you look at Family Guy, they constantly make fun of Aquaman. That's the guy's swing positions. Like I want to see people actually take him seriously as a character because I remember watching the League, the Flashpoint Paradox,
Mhm.
and I saw how badass he was in that, and him and Aquaman, him and Wonder Woman going at it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god! I'm like, and this the guy
Wow.
they make fun of. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's like,
really,
is this the guy you guys are making fun of? Is this the
yeah,
Aquaman y'all are talking about? They
yeah. I
probably
want,
saying that because they're probably referring to because you remember those old Aquaman cartoons that were part of the 70s
yeah, I
probably
remember,
with
I remember those. Like,
yeah, I think people are joking about that instead of just like I mean because that's the past. That was
yeah,
Super Friends and all that other stuff. This is
yeah,
now. They're making
yeah,
Aquaman. They're like I guess they're taking the jokes, all jokes aside, making Aquaman more serious. I guess that's what they're trying to do in New 52 as well. Make him
yeah,
more serious, trying to make him more competitive, not just a guy who just talks to fish. Make him
yeah.
a real hero, someone who can do more than just talk to fish. That's
Mm.
really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing for me. I don't want people like I'm starting to take Aquaman serious as a character. I seen Flashpoint Paradox and seeing Throne of Atlantis, seeing the sneak preview of it yesterday on YouTube. I'm like, man, I really hope that he get. I really hope he gets the respect he deserves. I think there's like it's like people. for years, like for me, because after and to me, I said I gotta think Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy opened me up to different type of characters that understands the fact that there's more people, there's more characters besides Batman. There's more characters besides Superman. That you got talking raccoon, a tree. You got Aquaman, the guy who's king of Atlantis. You got so many great characters out there that I think that I hope in this new movie I hope how they market him. I hope they actually give him backstory. They actually they give him backstory and don't just I want this movie to be real good because the last DC animated movie's been letting me down. I've been
Yeah,
pissed off lately. I've been I haven't been excited. Like last movie I saw I was excited for was Flashpoint Paradox, and
yeah,
that was the movie that movie that really got me back into him in Justice League War. I just really want people to understand the fact that Aquaman and me doing this new 52 run, it's man, he's a serious character you mess with, and that's why I like the fact that despite my hate for Batman vs Superman and my criticism of that film, I like the fact that Aquaman is actually getting that push. Now let's just hope WB don't make him a buddy joke and just start throwing fish jokes and things and just make fun of the character and just
mm,
don't take him seriously. Because
right.
because I do believe I do believe Justice League Throne of Atlantis is going to be one of them films that I think is going to change, the universe. I think it's going to change the animated film because I think that for years, the last two films have been Batman related and Assault on Arkham, Son of Batman. It's just been terrible. And I've been asking, myself, man, I want other films. To me, I really want to see, I want to see a Green Arrow origin movie, in the DC animated universe. I want to see it. I want to see that. Let me see what else I want to see. But I just hope just so the Throne of Atlantis come out real good. It from the looks of it, it seems great. But the only thing I have to ask for is that I think I have a feeling this is my solution. They don't take the character seriously, but they still gonna try to throw a fish joke in there like, oh, that's the guy that talks to the fishes. Like I don't want that because I think Aquaman can be a great character. I think he will become a great character. I think
Right.
people just I think that people just they don't take the character seriously enough as he is. And I feel like, we live in a world today where, he's a budding joke for everything. Oh, he's the guy that talks to the fishes. And they feel to realize, yeah, this dude is the king of the sea. He can wipe out a whole city if he really wanted. So,
Yep.
I mean, don't mess with the dude. So I just think that I want this movie to come out real good. I don't want it to be a budding joke, but what's your final, that's your final thoughts on the Justice League of Atlantis?
Yeah, that's my final thoughts.
All right, so this is the last topic of the comic. This is the last topic of the comic crew. The major, not the major Spider-Man. Yeah, the major Spider-Man 2. And now I want to go into this. And well, I won't say the major Spider-Man 3. I want to talk about this a little bit. Now you seen Amazing Spider-Man 2, right?
Yes, yes, I did.
I seen the I saw Amazing Spider-Man 2, right? All right, so let's talk the Amazing Spider-Man 3. When Sony, I don't know if Sony confirmed it yet what's going on,
They
but I want to
confirmed it.
talk
They
about
confirmed it for a 2018 release.
the 2018. So what you think is going to happen in the Amazing Spider-Man 3?
Well, for them to move the movie to have it 4 years later, that just to do the spin-off movies, I understand what they're trying to do here. Have the spin-off movies happen first, and then go back into the Spider-Man stuff. What I think is they're trying to have like how like after Gwen died, Spidey went
Yeah,
off this whole break for like a whole year, like he was at her gravestone for like every season.
yeah.
I'm thinking they probably have them do that. Like they could probably show what happened between that yearly gap, like what happened like after he quit for a moment and then came back. I think that's what's gonna happen. Like
Mhm.
show like probably bring Electro back, or probably even for once see who that guy in the shadows is, and probably see Vulture or Doc Ock show up.
But who,
That's
but who do you think should be the main villain though? Like who do you think should be the main villain of
for Amazing
Amazing Spider-Man 3?
for Amazing Spider-Man 3. So many villains, but one villain that really come. I want to see Scorpion become a villain. I want to see
Oh yeah, I
Scorpion.
want to see that too. I want to see that. I think that Scorpion is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains of all time. So I think that's a real cool character. I just think, So what else? I mean, but do you want to see Mary Jane in the Amazing Spider-Man 3 though?
Yeah, I do, cause I started out with Mary Jane, but I didn't know Gwen Stacy was Peter's first crush. So for
Yeah.
me to know about that, now I'm familiar. Cause when I started out, I just started watching Spider-Man the anime series. Oh, it's Peter. Oh, it's Mary Jane. It's Harry Osborn. The three are like best
Yeah.
friends. And then for
But
them
you know what,
springing,
man? But you know what, man? I want to say this though, because I know we're telling me Spider-Man 3 and others, they're supposed to come out in 2018. What pissed me, I understood why they took Mary Jane out, but I'm so mad at those fans. What's the girl name that was supposed to play Mary Jane?
Jalen,
Maybe Spider-Man 2. Shane
Jalen,
Woodley.
yeah,
Shane Woodley. She was supposed to play Mary Jane and maybe Spider-Man 2. They took it out because the part she didn't fit the movie, and I understood why she did it. But I would love to see her Mary Jane and make Spider-Man 3. I think it will be different. And to me, my whole hope for this film is going into the film, and I really want to talk about Spider-Man 3. I really want to see. To me, I want to see how he deals with the death of Gwen. I mean, because they showed it in Spider-Man 2 at the end where he goes to the grave and he kind of torn and conflicted about it. He takes a year off or weeks off or a year off from being Spider-Man because he know that he blames Gwen's death on himself. But I think to me, overall, for me, what I really want and what I really don't really want to see, I really want to see Gwen and I want to see Shane Woodley come back to become Mary Jane because I think it will add depth to the character. And to me, I feel like what one thing that makes Spider-Man 3 should be they should have one villain, one
right.
villain, one villain. I think it should be. What I also want to see in Spider-Man 3. I want to see James Jonah Jameson
Yeah,
bring back the
yes,
original. Yeah,
yes.
Bring back the original actor. I
Yeah,
think
JK Simmons. He's still doing Jameson to this day, just voice
yeah,
wise.
yeah,
He
yeah,
still does
yeah.
Jameson to this day.
Yeah, bring him back. To me, I probably say I really want to see Doc Ock. I want to see Doc Ock as a villain and maybe Spider-Man 3. I do. I think because I want to see how they. I mean, this is the major Spider-Man franchise. I want to see their version, their Doc Ock versus Sam Raimi Doc Ock, and see it's different. I want to see that. I want to see who else. Let me see what's going on with me. I want to see. Let me see what's going on for me. I really want to see Harry Osborn. No, no. I don't want to see Harry Osborn in 3 because I think Harry Osborn. They should have saved him for 3, but they used him for 2 instead. They
Yeah,
used him for 2.
yeah,
They should have used him. They should have saved him for 3 because I really want to see how the Harry and Peter relationship will grow along with Mary Jane and J. Jonah Jameson. But to me, my main villain my main gripe to me is the fact that, and I say is going back to me, Spider-Man 2, Electro should have been the main villain.
yeah,
Should have been the main villain because I think that you had so much potential with that character. Like I like Electro as a character, Max Dillon. I like Electro as a character. I think he had so much potential with that character. But once people fail to realize, I think that I feel like they threw something. They threw Rhino in there, they threw Green Goblin in there. They said
yeah,
they never could really develop, Electro. All you just saw was a guy that was talking to himself. Birthday party fall into the little party full of ills. Get his body mutated to the point where he can just turn electrocute the power and stuff. I really would have seen him and Electro go. I mean, because they battled it out, but to the point where they had Green Goblin get in the way, and I was like, they should have made Electro the main villain. But going into maybe Spider-Man 3, I have hopes. And to me, I love the main Spider-Man franchise, so for me, I love it. I love both films personally. I really want to see. I think Doc Ock should be the main villain. I think Doc Ock should be the main villain. Doc Ock should be the main villain to me because I think that I love Doc Ock. He's one of my favorite villains of all time. Let me see, J. Jonah Jameson. I always say him. Mary Jane. I want to see Mary Jane. Let me see what's going on. I would love to see. I would just to me overall, I just want to see. I want to see more of a film where it's one villain and it's more of a tight knit story. And I do not want Sony getting involved. I want Mark Webb to direct it because he is coming back to direct 3.
yeah,
I want him to direct. I want him to let Mike Webb tell the story. Don't get involved. Don't add another villain. and make Doc Ock the villain. I really want to see Doc Ock as the villain. Even bring back Kurt Connors really as a side character.
Okay.
Yeah, bring back Dr. Kirk Connors. Bring back Kirk Connors. Don't bring him back as Lizard, but bring him back as a Lizard. Make him kind of like making this person with the person that Peter goes to for genetics or cross species genetics, cross species DNA, stuff like that. I just want to meet Kirk Connors to come back to three because I really did like the Lizard. I really did like the Lizard in the mid Spider-Man one. In mid Spider-Man, I really did like that one. Let me see what else I like. I think that's mostly it really. I like two, but I believe two had plot points. But despite the plot points, I still love the movie more because I still felt like it was a superhero movie. It was a
Right.
superhero movie that it's the main Spider-Man movie we should got in the first one, but the first one was the origin story, so you can't do you can't do everything in the origin story like you can't do in the second film because by second film, the character still get kind of established. They kind of get to know who he is to me. And for me, and I know it sounds kind of weird, but I know Sony will never do it. I want Andrew Garfield in the Avengers 3 and not
Yeah.
and to see Captain America what the what's it and the Avengers. I want to see him in the Avengers, like the Young Avengers, or if Marvel and Sony can work together. I would love to see Spider-Man crossover with the Avengers to see how that would work out. Because I think that Sony and Marvel make tons of money, not just make tons of money, but they will just kill because people have been asking, because I've been asking for it. I want to see Spider-Man crossover with the Avengers. I really
Yes.
want to see that.
Yes.
I mean, because everybody wanted it. I think that I hope Sony is not too stupid and they're not being too arrogant. And they're not letting the ego get in the way of realizing the fact that people want Spider-Man. Man, I love Spider-Man as a character. So I think to me overall, just before we end this topic, before we end the podcast and the show, I just want just going in. I just want the show, this movie, to become out great. I believe that maybe Spider-Man 3 can be a great film. It's going to be good. It's going to be great. I just think that we just have to one villain, J. Jonah Jameson, Doc Ock, bring back Kurt Connors as supporting character of Peter.
Right.
Bring back
Right.
Kurt Connors as Peter. Introduce Mary Jane. Bring back Shane Woodley. And don't let the dumb fans. Don't let the dumb fans deter her stop from playing the role. Because personally, and see how he deals with Gwen's death along with being Peter Parker and stuff like that. And to me, even having the moments where it was like, wow, I like character. But before this, you got any final thoughts before we close the show?
Well, before we close, just like you said, for your thoughts on Amazing Spider-Man 3, I just want good to have I'd like to see Shailene Woodley Mary Jane, don't see Jameson come back, one like you said, one villain, because basically when they try to do more than one villain in a movie, it really doesn't work well. So basically,
Mm,
every superhero movie we've been having, they just stick with just one villain. So basically, yeah, I agree with what you're saying right now. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, any final thoughts before we close the show out, man?
Well, no, all thoughts are good.
All right, man. People, first and foremost, people, thank you for watching the show, listening to us, man, and Black Wing, man, thank you for taking for accepting the invite for joining. And before I end this, man, I really wanted to say, this podcast it's my, it's my first episode, people. So it ain't the perfect. I wrote a list down, sheet of paper with the topics next week, or I don't know when, Black Wing, when you want to do this next week?
Next week, we could do this. How about Monday? How about Monday?
Monday, this upcoming Monday.
The 25th. 25th on. We could do it at like
25th.
yeah. We could do it like at 12. That we could do our next podcast at like 12.
Okay. I'm quite busy. How about I think today is a good day. Today is a good day. Probably Thursday. We probably do it every Thursday. So we
Okay.
can give enough time to run up the topics. And so next time we come on topic, you come with some topics to talk about. I come with some topics to talk about, and we can be ourselves. And I'll try to, your friend, your friend that couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to get him to tag along. I got somebody who was part of the who was part of who recently sent me an email today. He was supposed to join today, but he didn't tag along. He was supposed to join it. So maybe we'll probably have more. We have more guests stopping by, and we can add more depth to the show. But I really enjoyed you as I enjoyed you as a guest, man. And welcome to the Comic Crew, man.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
me.
yeah, we're gonna. I'm gonna put this on my channel. I'm gonna put this everywhere. I'm gonna let people know about it. So people thank you for coming into the show, watching the show. This your boy Chris. Black Wing give you financial being show.
Of course, I'm Vengeance, I'm Darkness, I am Blackwing. Stay golden.
All right then. Peace, one love. Have a good night. Love the
Thanks for
show. See you next Thursday, man.
you got it.